at the Old Course, St Andrews, Scotland, for the 150th Open Championship. This is the driving range, which is hard by the North Sea. The sun is shining, but my goodness, the wind is picking up. It's saying 17 miles per hour, but feels a lot stronger. The flags are gusting in this part of the world, and we have every angle covered. Yeah, that's the short game area. We're just to the right and we're here on the driving range. I'm delighted to introduce the 2014 winning Ryder Cup captain, Paul McGinley. Paul, good to see you.
Thank you, Di.
Great to see you. Now,
nice
I know that you arrived in Scotland yesterday. Just tell us what it's like returning here to the home of golf for this 150th Open Championship.
Well, I know. It really is. Every time I've been to a number of them now in St Andrews, Di, and they're great. I mean, this one's the biggest one yet. Obviously, they've made an extra effort because it's 150, and we've got the perfect conditions, you know, bright and breezy. We've always cried out for that.
Conditions?
Oh yeah, for a links golf course, bright and breezy.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got here, and we're going to have it all week long. And really, really firm conditions. It's been very dry here the last 2 or 3 months. Hasn't been much rain, and now with this wind drying it out even more, you're going to see some really peculiar shots this week.
Well,
and there's a lot of opportunity for creativity for the players out there.
I was going to say creativity, imagination is going to be needed. At the moment, they're saying 17 miles per hour. It's a west-southwest wind.
Yeah.
It really changes the storyline on the golf course, doesn't it? I spoke to a few of the players and I stopped Sean Foley yesterday. He said the wind changes all the time here. It's so hard to... You practice today and it'll be different tomorrow.
Yeah, but nowadays the forecasts are so good. I think it's going to be pretty stable. It's coming out of that left-hand side, as anybody who's known St Andrews, down and off your left shoulder on the way out and in and out of your right shoulder on the way back. So it's a game of two halves, as they say. And if you can, there's going to be some good scoring in that front nine, there's no doubt, because a lot of the par fours that these players hit it so far, they're going to get very close to these par fours. Even the second hole at 450 yards, they'll be getting it within 20 yards of that green.
Yeah.
But the difficulty, that doesn't mean it's easy. The difficulty is getting it up and down in these rock-hard greens, and particularly if you've got any way downwind with your chipping, because it's going to be stopping the ball is going to be the challenge. There's going to be a number of drivable par fours, but it's going to be tricky. It's not going to be very difficult in terms of length, but it is in terms of trickiness. Yeah,
well, we just saw Webb Simpson's just left the range, the 2012 US Open champ, and he had to move his TrackMan back because it was so windy at his allotted turf spot, so we had to move it back. We've got Henrik Stenson here, winner of the Open Championship 2016. Had a great finish here back in 2010, tied third. The current Ryder Cup captain, Paul, and what's he tweaking? What's he working on right now?
Well, it's wedge play. You know, there's going to be a lot of this, Di, 20-yard shots, 40-yard shots, 70-yard shots like he's doing here, and it's about stopping the ball. As I say, it's about getting control. So he's down off the left here on the range, so what he's trying to do is trying to move the ball, if he can, a little bit from right to left, so it kind of banks a little bit against the wind, and then stops somewhat under control. If you hit it on the wind, it's going out of control and it's going to keep on running and not get any bite on it. So that's why I say a high tariff on skill this week. It really is skillful. When you watch these players in the range here, you can see the shots they're trying to play, and it's all about gaining control and getting the ball somewhat under control on that first bounce. We saw Rory McIlroy yesterday, and he's got a new 2-iron in the bag, which he'll enjoy hitting those low stingers, and you know, that's one of the shots you need around here. Oh yeah, I mean, he'll be hitting that over 300 yards. You know?
Which is great, because how many par fours on this golf course are under 400 yards? Seven of the par fours under 400 yards, which makes it, you know, birdies are available, but as you say, that creativity around the greens is needed. I just want to point out yesterday, Paul, we had a great celebration day, didn't we? The celebration of champions. And you were here, I know you were working, watching all of this, and on the Swilcan Bridge, it was a really emotional time. Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, the 3-time Open champ, there with Lee Trevino, winner in 71, 72, Rory McIlroy, winner of the Open, and Georgia Hall. She spoke on the range beforehand and said, this is a dream come true. I mean, really, really special. And then these two. Wow, a changing of the guard, wasn't it?
I think this photograph right here that we're seeing now will be, you know, they'll be watching this photograph in 100, 200 years' time. I mean, it really is iconic. They're the two greatest players in terms of major championship wins ever to have played the game. And there you are, pictured on the Swilcan Bridge. You know, how many more opportunities are we going to have to see that?
Bringing back those memories of Tiger shooting 19 under in 2000, 15-time major champ. I mean, we all want to dream, Paul. We want to dream. Can he win another major?
I don't think it's going to be this week. I think he's obviously lightly raced in horsing terms. He's played very little golf. I just think he's off the pace. He's miles off the pace from what's needed. And he'll do okay. I think the guile that he has, if his short game is good, and that's going to be a big key this week, I can see him top 20, maybe top 10. But I think that's about as much as we can expect from Tiger this week. I'll be really surprised. And obviously very hopeful should he do better than that. But I think realistically, with how little golf he's played and how serious an injury he's coming back from, that realistically, you would say that if he makes the cut and finishes top 20, that's a fantastic performance.
I've still got the faith, Paul.
I know.
I've still got the faith. I have. I'm a believer. Come on, Tiger.
You got a dream, as you said earlier.
Oh, you got a dream. We've all got dreams. I think he might do all right. Let's have a look at some of the tee times and who's been teeing. Tiger was actually on the range at 7:50 this morning, and he's already gone out. You know, we know he loves to go out early. Justin Rose is playing with Rob Dinwiddie. Rob said he's going to join Justin, and he qualified down the road a couple of weeks ago. So many different storylines and how people got into this, how they qualified. This is the Open Championship after all, and anyone can win it. Will Zalatoris playing in his second Open Champ. He's 840. I mean, look at the names on display there. Schauffele coming straight off that. What about him, Schauffele, for a win this week?
Yeah, I mean, he reminds me a little bit in terms of form. He's hit a purple patch at the moment with 2 wins, as well as winning the JP Pro-Am. He shot an unbelievable score there on a very difficult golf course, 36 holes against a quality field. So he reminds me a little bit of Scotty Scheffler. You know, all of a sudden he's ignited. He's been hovering around. He's a really good player. We know that. He's been hovering around. He won the gold medal in the Olympics last year and kind of came out this year decent, not amazing, and all of a sudden, boom, he's ignited and off he goes. And Scheffler did something very similar and then went on to win the majors. So, you know, players are like the stock market. They come in and out of form, and he's definitely a hot player. Now, the exam this week is a very, very difficult one, and one he's not used to. So these practice rounds are vitally important for players like him who wouldn't be used to these firm ground conditions like we will be.
Paul Lowry, he's going to hit the opening tee shot of the 150th Open on Thursday. That's a great thing to do. Louis Oosthuizen and Henrik Stenson, they're 940. Oosthuizen with that big victory back in 2010. There is Scheffler, Dustin Johnson, DJ's going out 10:20. Who else have we got? Shane Lowry, winner in 2019. Danny Willett, 11:30, and Podrick, who says, you know, he said yesterday on the range, he feels he's got the winning juices flowing. He won the US Senior Open, didn't he?
Well, yeah, he did. He's playing great, and he played very well down in Adair at JP's Pro-Am as well. I think the thing about Podrick is, you know, we saw at 59 years of age, Tom Watson almost winning. These are the kind of conditions, Di, that we could see somebody like a Podrick Harrington contending. You know, he's a realistic contender in these conditions. We know how good his short game is. We know he's got the guile. He hits the ball a million miles now, as we know, so he'll be able to drive a lot of the par fours. The big key is the short game. And the interesting thing, looking at all the statistics of the winners around here at St Andrews, to a large extent, statistics go out the window because the fairways are so big, the greens are so big. So hitting those is not really that important. It's all about the angles. But so what you really look at, what are the common denominators and the traits of the correlations of the guys who have won, and putting is the number one thing. The guys who have won, the last 3 winners of the Open Championship here at St Andrews have all led the putting statistics.
That's incredible. Really great to know. This atmosphere, just to describe to you at home, if you are just tuning in for the first time, the crowds are really building. We've got a big grandstand to our right-hand side where you get a bird's eye view of what the players are doing and pick up some top tips. This is a great place to be, Paul, if you want to, if you are in St Andrews and you have a ticket and you're a big golf fan, to pick up some tips about what the players are actually working on.
And the ball control, Di, is really important. Watch how they're trying to shape it. The wind is down off the left, which is not a great wind for pros to practice in. So you'll see a lot of them are trying to hold it. They're trying to put spin on it from right to left to hold it in the wind, so it banks a little bit and comes down somewhat under control. Also, we've got a massive screen down here. If
we go around this way,
if you're sitting in the stand, you can read that. And that's got the TrackMan and the shot tracer at the back of all the players, so you can see the ball flights and you can see what they're doing, and then you can compare the spins, you can compare the distance when they're hitting drivers, you can see how much roll the ball is getting out, and as well as the speed. So it's become very, very tech, isn't it?
It certainly has. Should we try and maybe get a quick word with Henrik? Should we see if we... I'm going to leave him to it. He was backing off. No, we'll definitely... He's in his office. He's in his office. We don't want to disturb him. Instead, I think we should go and... let's get to our commentary team. We'll be back on the range very shortly. But for now, let's join Simon Holmes and Andrew Coltop. Boys, it's over to you guys.
Thanks very much, Day. Yeah, looking forward to this. Definitely a stronger wind out there today. Now, I know, Simon, you'd spend all day on the range, but in that wind, I wouldn't be on there for longer than about 20 minutes.
No, I think the key thing is going to be getting your head round how you're going to play, how you're going to fit your game to the golf course. So I think this is kind of warm-up, maybe practice a few shots that you think are going to be tough. I think tee shots are going to be really crucial, so you might want to think about a strong iron that keeps the ball down, keeps the ball, you know, underneath the winds. And then you need to go and chip and putt. Someone's going to have to be unbelievably good at 40-footers and in this week. Is going to be three-putt avoidance is going to be massive if you're going to conquer this golf course.
Yeah, I think gusts are going to play a factor. I know from past experience that they can put some devilishly difficult pins very close to slopes that make almost three putts a certainty. And Paul McGinley was talking about how close they can get it to the likes of the second hole. We heard Rory McIlroy yesterday saying that he might actually have to lay quite a long way back to get some kind of spin onto it to get it in there close to the hole. So
I think that's interesting. I think, you know, where does power go this week? Power might not be the one thing that you need. You might need better strategy. You might need a superb touch and around the greens, on the greens. You're going to have loads of 40-footers. I mean, if you leak 3 or 4 shots with 3 putts there, you're not winning. Yeah,
and gusty conditions trying to putt as well. That's a terrific point. Of course, with all the run that they've got and as fast as these fairways are, everybody's a long hitter out there this week.
Yeah, I think that's right. Oh, here we go. So, the main man. Great pictures of him yesterday on the far right side of the driving range, hitting into the wind. So, this was this morning. Tiger's out there already. Let's have a quick flick through. So, Tiger's practice really doesn't have any variation. So, you chat to Joey LaCava, and, you know, if he was hitting kind of the 6 irons, the even numbers yesterday, he might be hitting the odd irons today, but it's almost the same. So, Tiger just sort of picking out some numbers, just getting used to the hard conditions, the clip that you need off this turf. You can't drive it. So, working his bounce, working his timing. What is he going to bring for us this week? Those eyes. That's a game face, Andrew.
Yeah, it was terrific yesterday in the Champions match, that how relaxed he was, really having fun out there with Trevino, Georgia Hall, Rory McIlroy, and nice to see him that relaxed. But that's all the pleasantries out the way, and this is all about Tiger Woods trying to win this great championship for a 4th time. Of course, it's a different Tiger. That's the question mark.
It is a different Tiger. There's been so many different Tigers, hasn't it? It's one of the most extraordinary things about his career. And now it's all about the injuries. He's got a sore back. He's got a really wonky leg. But he's got, well, he's a lion heart, isn't he?
He is. And one of the, I mean, clearly with 82 worldwide wins, beg your pardon, PGA Tour wins in that 27-year career, one of the best golfing brains out there. I think that's one of the reasons why he has come here for this. One of the reasons why he actually missed out the US Open at Brookline, because this is a very difficult golf course to know. He knows it very, very well indeed. A lot of other players are actually out of the competition already because they won't know what to look for.
No, and that could be his golfing brain, as you say, and knowing links conditions and then embracing it. So he loves that challenge. He's not going, I can't believe it's so windy today, I can't hit my shots 120 feet in the air. He loves the fact that it's like this, and that could be worth a shot a day to him, just in the attitude and in being able to mentally navigate himself around. So we're just watching him go through. He's obviously had a few clipped sand wedges. This is also a wedge of some description, so just kind of hitting these out there around 130.
And as you said, he's gone down to the right-hand side of the range. That's because he wants to try and, as much as possible, to hit into the breeze. Yeah. Webb Simpson was over there on the left-hand side. That was the space that he chose, and it's coming much more over his left shoulder there, so he had to try and hide behind, behind a tent over there on the left to keep himself out of the wind so that he could swing normally.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think Tiger's he's a shot maker. he's gonna, if you watch that apex number, so that apex is probably right around standard for Tiger. That's 90 feet. And we'll probably see most of these full shots go right around that same height. And then every now and again, if he'll come down, he'll probably hit something in around 60 feet. So he's superb at being able to control ball flight. He works on that a lot. He's kind of got a 9-shot pattern. So a straight shot, a right to left shot, a left to right shot, and then on 3 different heights: mid trajectory, low trajectory, and high trajectory. Those are his 9 shots, and he knows that. That's his system. He's going to work through that in this session that we're going to watch here. So he's controlling the impact. He's controlling the club head speeds, the same club head speeds. That's just going to be a tiny bit lower. See, that finish was just a little bit shorter, more across his body, and just dropped 20 feet off the height. Kind of keeping the same ball speed, kind of keeping the same carry number.
There's almost a rhythm to everything. As well as this rhythm of the swing, a rhythm of, he's following the ball all the way till it's down. Then he turns back. Just watch. Almost get your watch out and sort of time it. Each clip, it's about sort of 20 seconds.
Yeah, I think he's a very systematic guy, and like in the chaos that followed his career, like, I mean, nothing happened for that guy in 2 minutes. He was the needle. He was an icon. He's a legend of our game. He's a sporting legend, and he needed to find his own little space. So that left leg obviously taking much more of the weight and the pressure. But he looked as though he walked pretty well. I mean, the up on the Swilcan Bridge yesterday, big smiley face. I think he and Joey have come here for a purpose, and I think that purpose is to see, like, could I have the magic one more time?
Well, he's always said he only turns up when he feels he can win. For whatever reason, at Brookline he didn't feel that was possible. He, I think, realised the limitations of his modern day body and the results of the accident, and that at Southern Hills, where he had to, I won't say trudge around, but where he had to try and work his way around quite a hilly golf course. Now, of course, this one is flat, but there's an awful lot of awkward foot angles over little humps and hollows and bunkers and things that could prove problematic.
Yeah, and I think there's a different buzz. Tiger came off the golf course at Southern Hills and didn't play the US Open at Brookline because of this tournament this week, and it was because it was the Open Championship, and it was because it's at St Andrews, and you can tell what's on his mind. He was prepared to sacrifice those 2 results for this event. So it matters to him. So just watching him, look, watch that apex number. He would probably normally have a full shot at around, well, let's say 110 feet of apex. These are coming in 50 feet, 40 feet below. So really working to try to reduce the number at the bottom. That's the curve number. So he's playing with the launch, he's playing with the speeds. So maybe a 4-iron there. That's a real bunty one. You watch the launch there. 5.
Yeah.
Okay, apex 30 feet. So that's really kind of like a stinger shot there.
Look at the breeze, though, Simon. Everybody's talking about how easy this golf course is going to be. I'm not so sure.
Oh no, I don't think this will be easy. And then just look at the stingers there. That's launching just a few degrees, 6 degrees there. So the challenge of the golf course, is the bunkers are 1-shot penalties, so you need to navigate your way out of that. And when it's really bouncy and kind of slopey, you're going to have lucky bounces and unlucky bounces, and you're going to have to ride that out. And then it's going to be, where are you going to putt from? Where is your first putt coming from? I mean, you could try to hit it all the way up by the green, and maybe some of the guys will go for that. Is that what Bryson's going to go for? But you're going to make some huge numbers there. You're not navigating and plotting your way around the golf course. So, like, a yardage to the pin is probably the most irrelevant number this week, especially in the winds. And it's where's the flat spot in front of the green? Can I land my ball there in 2? And do I have a decent first putt?
Yeah, that's spot on, isn't it? A lot of players won't be able to control the bounce. A lot of players won't be thinking about the flat parts. Their style is distance, getting it down there as close as they possibly can. That's the new way to play the game. It's not the clever way to get it around a links golf course. It's not the smart way to get it around a place like this.
No, and I'll tell you, a man who would have woken up this morning, looked out the window and gone, thank goodness for that, is a guy like Shane Lowry. Shane Lowry will look at this and go, oh, fantastic. Because 7/8 of the field will be eliminated. They won't manage it.
Yeah, Yardy's book, a total waste of time. It's just got to play the feel. The gust makes it tougher to judge, of course, but you got to know where the bounces will take your golf ball, where you don't want them to take your golf ball, and if those just that send it high into the sky, you're going to lose control over it. Stepping his way up there. Has he got to the big stick? Looked like he got the big stick there, I thought. Is it?
Let's have a look. Is this one down from the big stick? That's on the ground. So the Tiger Woods swing. So weight shift's really different now. Kind of moves off the ball with the takeaway, moves into his right side, but he's by the top of the backswing, he's really kind of recentered. So he's much more kind of 50-50 on his feet. And then it's all about, well, the core, the hips, and sort of using that left leg to take the pressure. So take a look at this, kind of like chest and arms go together. Okay, here we go. Watch his feet there. So it kind of goes off and back. There's not a huge push off that right foot as there used to be, so the left leg is probably taking a bit more of the pressure. But if you watch the JP McManus Pro-Am, I mean, there were a couple of shots where you went, wow. And I also thought he drove the ball great. So I don't think this is such a busted body that it can't produce a winning set of scores. I don't think that's what we're looking at. I'd say the stamina required to get around the golf course over 4 days is probably more, so the walking is probably more the liability for Tiger than anything else. So that's a toe hit. He hates that.
Yeah, turned that one over a little bit too much into the breeze, didn't go very far. Yeah, I think because it kind of harp on about the physical limitations, because this has been arguably the best golfer that has ever walked the face of the planet. But of course, there's a mental and physical drain with contending with the discomfort that you has to deal with as well.
Yeah, well, Tiger played with Steve Myron and Phil Jansen and those guys, Peter Jones last week, and then the feedback was, Tiger's on 3 ice baths a day. So the amount of effort that it takes him to just get to here. These are beautiful shots, just holding it up in the wind there.
I mean, that's tremendous to hear that. Giving the viewer the opportunity to know the level of commitment and dedication he still has to this.
Andrew, I think that's exactly right. It's like, this is a great pro, one of the great pros we've ever had in the game. This guy loves the game of golf. Wow, look at that ball flare with the wind. That is totally gone. So kind of launch that up 100 feet and 101 feet of left to right curve. So, yeah, wind conditions. So now out with driver.
I know this was just a little reminder. This was earlier this morning. He was out there just before 8 o'clock going through these warming up routine. I saw him hitting a couple of drivers earlier on, and he still gets the distance on it, which amazes me with the back surgeries and all the other things that he's had to contend with.
Yeah, so we'll just watch a little bit of the ball speed. That kind of gives the indication. Looking for around 170. Yeah, so I'd say that was kind of like his number right now. That wasn't the hardest drive he's got in the bag. 290 carry, and it's obviously been impacted by the wind. A huge curve there. So power, the amount of power Tiger can generate is easy enough to be able to play this week.
Man, the first athlete ever to reach $1 billion in career earnings, including endorsements. That's what you're looking at. Played a PGA Tour record, 142 events without missing the cut.
Yeah, he's changed everything in our sport. You have guys who, like John Rahm, came to the top of the of the game and has fallen off. Scotty Scheffler rose, fell. Tiger was there on and off for 10 years. I mean, his dips were nothing. He was so dominant. He set a new set of scores. He changed the game. He changed the mental side, he changed the physical side, and he made the sport better.
Led the PGA Tour scoring average 9 times in only 2 years. He didn't. From 99 to 2009 was 2004 and 2008.
So you see Tiger just working around there. That dropped down, so you can see that's the lower one that was teed down a little bit. See how he's dropped that underneath the ball. You can't even see the ball. Oh, lovely tracer there. So held that one much more against the wind. So he's playing with that launch angle, using a little bit of a strike points there. So Tiger anticipating wind and just trying to get his feels going. Okay, a little bit more right side through, trying to hold that one against the wind. That's a bit more of a draw ball. Launched it higher, 170. That's probably the stock driver for Tiger Woods, 290 carry.
2 Open Championship victories on this hallowed turf, 2000, 2005. Going for the triple. A man that has come back so many times from adversity. And one thing I think we've all realised in our time is never underestimate him, or do so at your peril.
Just the desire, isn't it? You can see him really working the ball around now. That was a big old draw. And these are just kicking in right around that 170, 175 ball speed. Lower flight, dropped the launch by 5 degrees from the last one. Apex 61 feet, so not the full stinger, but just making sure he's got that one where he can hold it against the crosswinds. First, what we're going to have, first 7 holes going to be played on the left to right wind. So, Tiger Woods getting ready for his second practice round.
That's what you get, yeah, 263 probably equate to around about the 300 plus by the time that finishes running out. Golf course used to be played in a clockwise direction. Now they changed that, and now it's an anti-clockwise direction.
To the next 150 years of open golfers, respect the game.
And it's there. Watson has this desperately difficult third shot to play.
These links courses have been around long before you were born, and will be here long after you're gone. But don't get mad at the wind, the rough, or the bounces. You're in the hands of Mother Nature, after all. Play hard, but play fair. Be known for winning, or losing, in the right way. If you're lucky enough to have your name etched on the Claret Jug, look at those names before you. Realize that everything has led to this.
Good morning. We are out on course once again, and you can bet your bottom dollar where you'll find us. Tiger Woods is off the range and onto the back nine. He has snuck straight out onto the back nine and asked Adrian Maronk if he can join him in a 2-ball. There he is. He's wearing the Open Championship navy blue, looking all class today. Is Tiger. Now, one thing I can tell you is that it is windy. This is proper links golf once again. Reports are that it's 17 miles an hour. I do not believe that. It is humming into the teeth as Tiger and Adrian enter the par 3 11th, one of my personal favourite holes here at St Andrews. The wind is coming hard from the left. measuring at 172 to the pin. I've just watched the group ahead of Justin Rose. He pulled out a 4-iron and barely made it. So this is going to test Tiger early. He's been playing fades all throughout the week, big fades. So this left to right wind, which would be predominantly all up the front 9 if it was to stay this way throughout the week. So it's going to be a tough start if Tiger's going to hold it up against this wind. I haven't seen him turn it over very much at all this week on the range or on the course. So this is as tough as it gets from a starting point for the big cat. I'm going to try and get in there close and see what clubs he's pulled. Joe LaCava getting the laser out. We had a good catch up with Big Joe early on in the week, and he explained to us his whole process when he's doing yardages. Great to get inside the brain of Tiger's caddy. But if you joined us in the broadcast yesterday, we mentioned that this is one of the big traffic jams at the Open. Such a good spot to watch golf. There's 6 holes in view from these grandstands. 6 holes, so if you can find a good seat here during the championship, you could have a lot of fun. You could settle right in. Now as we pan off Tiger onto his playing partner today, Adrian Meronk, recently won the Irish Open in tremendous fashion. Congrats to him. He has never played with Tiger, and he was rocking up to the tee this morning and happened to be a little bit early. So Tiger asked, can I join in? You're not going to turn that down, are you? Okay, I'm trying to work out what club Tiger's got, but he's swinging too fast. Five iron for Meronk. Low. The wind is going to hit it hard, and it does. Cruising off to the right. And that is going to be a fun bit of golf. Can confirm Tiger's pulled a 4-iron, an extra bit of club, which I think is a good call. He's going to have to get all of it. This wind is so difficult out here. This is what links golf's about. Here he is now. Stinger, punchy one, but the wind's going to take it. The wind has taken it way right. Wow, this is a tough hole, and it's trickled over the back as well. We're going to have a reload there. Such a tough shot to keep it low. He likes the choice of club. Does our Tiger. Wow, he is playing with this. This is a serious shot. Toying with it. Sit down, sit down. Oh. Wow, this is tough. That barely got above the TV tower and is still rolled off the back. That's why I love this hole. That's why I love the 11th hole. Such a narrow green, slope at the back. They'll try and use it, but Tiger couldn't quite take advantage. Meronk with one more. He'll aim this way left. Shot. But the wind's still grabbing it. He needs to hold on here. Similar result. And this time it holds on. This is what it's all about. The elements are so testing today. This is going to be a great dry run for all the golfers on course today. This is more like it at St Andrews. A true test of golf. This is the Open Championship.
Thank you. Delighted to be joined by Oldřich Poulter, the winner of the Amateur Championship. Just 17 years young, Oldřich. This is an incredible story. How are you feeling here, being at the home of golf, St Andrews, playing in the Open Championship?
Yeah, it's been amazing so far. Seeing all the big names and seeing the history behind the tournament, it's been great so far. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Who have you chatted to this week?
So I've played a few rounds with Adam Scott. That's been amazing. He's an amazing person off the golf course as well. Playing a few rounds with Louis Oosthuizen. Obviously, I'm in his academy, so I've met him a few times before, so that's also great. I'm feeling really comfortable around him. And then tomorrow, hopefully Ernie, so we'll see how he goes. But yeah, seeing the guys and seeing what they do around the tournament and how they prepare really helps me.
It's great to pick up as many tips as you can, and winning that amateur championship, I mean, it's such a big deal. What were the nerves like playing in that?
I wasn't too nervous in the final round. I think playing the first practice round here, I think it was a bit more nervous than that. Yeah. But no, in general, it was a great tournament, and it was really fun. Yeah, so we're here on the putting green, and what is your practice routine before going out and playing a round of golf? We've got a couple of balls here. What's your thought process? So if I'm playing a practice round, I'll probably come out. Depends if I'm practicing or going out to play. But if I'm going out to play, I'll just chuck a few balls, hit random putts out.
You go on you do your long game first and then come over to the putting green.
Yeah. So I'll do the putting just before I go out, and just try and find putts that I'll have on the course, and just try and get the speed right of the greens, and just prepare for the game.
Well, listen, no pressure whatsoever, but can you just hold these two and pretend these putts are for winning the Open Championship?
I'll try my best.
Okay. Oh, you line them up as well?
Yeah, I try and line them up and pretend that I have to hold it like on the course. So yeah.
We'll let you try this one then. Off you go. Oh, it's okay. We'll give you another chance. One more go. Bit of break in that one, Oldřich.
Yeah, it does break up a little bit to the left.
Go, go, go. Oh, it was nearly so good for television. Nearly so good. Listen, we'll let you keep practicing. It's really great to chat to you. Have a great practice day today, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, great stuff.
My first Open was up in St Andrews. I was around about 11 at the time, and it was electric. You know, this gentleman had missed his shot, and you could feel like the atmosphere, kind of growing. It was just all gearing up to this one big thing. We watched him do this putt. It was at the 18th, and it was a do-or-die shot. This was a once-in-a-lifetime golf shot, and it was like, will it go, will it go, will it go? And then everyone exploded. It was just like, whoa, what is this? This is out of this world. Hands in the air. It was like someone had scored like the winning goal at a cup final. And I was like, wow, this is something special. I was there when Constantino Rocca hit the putt that no one else could hit, when it mattered.
Yeah, certainly not shy of entertaining moments, this event. Dustin Johnson, 24 wins on a PGA Tour, 9 wins on the DP World Tour, slipping down the world rankings now. Not earned the world ranking point for a few weeks for reasons most of the golfing world are familiar with. Masters champion, US Open champion, still a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I think that's right. And it'd be interesting, does Dustin Johnson have the range of shots, the ability to keep his game going? We saw Tiger's warm up, and we saw Tiger walk out to the 11th, so maybe that was to avoid a lot of the left to right wind early on the front nine. That could be something he may have thought about, Tiger Woods.
I think so. I think that's a great play. And one of the interesting things was that huge big grandstand left of 11. The players can't feel how strong the breeze is until the ball shoots past that stand. players getting caught out there. But it was remarkable with the shot choices Tiger was hitting, how low they were, and there's not too many other players that are capable of doing that.
Well, and I think that the PGA Tour, the way that the conditions are in the United States, maybe Tiger's the only real sort of super shot maker from that tour. So we're going to have a look at Dustin Johnson's swing. So it's a big, powerful swing, generally hits the ball on quite a high flight. So his natural shots won't be so suited to the big crosswind. So what the players tend to find is you sort of get too late. You can feel you're going to lose the ball to the right, and you kind of hang on to it a little bit. Very difficult to just let the ball leak to the right. So be interesting to see. We just have a little bit of work on his apex, see what he's done. Done a lot of work on his wedges with the Butch Harmon.
He's not the shot shaper that Tiger is, and we talk about this. This is a tremendous asset most weeks of the year. He's a phenomenal wedge player, and to a certain extent that will stand him in good stead. If you look at his record here at the Open, 12 appearances, runner-up in 2011 and the 4 top 10s. But getting that ball up in the air, it's never going to go the distance that he's so used to it going with the devices that he used to measure distances when there's not a 25-mile-an-hour gust of breeze.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference between really sort of owning the process of controlling distance and sort of borrowing it. So Tiger Woods, I think, he feels each yard. Dustin Johnson is trying to memorize each yard, and it'll be a very interesting test for him to see how robust his system is, and can it handle, especially not so much the into the winds, but the massive crosswinds.
There's a good example there, moving a long way in the breeze.
Yeah, if you hit a shot that goes 112 yards and it curves 60 feet left to right, so conditions obviously on the driving range pretty tough. So let's go down there and check it with Di Stewart.
Yeah, we are down on the range, and my goodness, the wind is picking up here, Paul. As we walk further down, we've got Dustin Johnson just on my right-hand side. He's been going through his bag, Paul. What have you seen from him so far over the last couple of days? Because you got here yesterday morning.
Yeah, he played very well here when the Open was here, when Zach Johnson won last time. But very, very different St Andrews this time with the firm ground conditions. Remember, we had the deluge of rain earlier in the week that made it really soft, and it was very much a front-footed a kind of attack on the golf course. This one, this test here this week is full of guile. It's full of it's full of shot making. It's full of ball control. There's so many different skill sets in these firm conditions. So what we're seeing a lot of the players doing here is moving the ball around, and it's not just with the driver. Very few of them actually are hitting drivers. Most of them are doing wedges and 9-irons and little even sand wedges, and just trying to spin the ball into the wind a little bit. The wind is hard off the left here, and it's all about getting the ball under control somewhat in these first of all the windy conditions, but secondly the ground conditions that are so firm as well. So there's a real array of shot making going on here,
which he's so good at, isn't he? Let's just watch a couple of his shots.
Yeah, he's a fader of the ball, and it's interesting there. He's letting it go in the wind.
It really has gone, hasn't it? There.
I don't like what he's doing there, to be honest.
Why is that?
Well, because it's not coming down with control.
Right. Okay.
You're watching Sergio, who was on there before him, and we saw Webb Simpson earlier, and both of them were drawing the ball into the wind to try to get control against it. So he plays predominantly from left to right. This is a left to right wind, and if he keeps playing with this on the left to right, yes, he'll hit the driver a long way, but his shorter shots are going to be less under control because they're going to be pitching downwind with the wind off the left and the shape from left to right.
Yeah, let's watch that one.
See that one there again. Yeah, see, he's not happy with it. He's trying to draw the ball, and it's not his natural shot. So interesting to see. Interesting to see what he's going to do and how his practice session evolves, and if he's going to get control of hitting those little draws.
We'll try and get a chat with Claude Harmon III and very shortly, who's working with him, who's worked with him for a few years now.
Yeah.
Nice to see him relaxed and chilled.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, Gary Woodland in beside him there, coming in from US Open champion Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't a windy Pebble Beach when he did win there. I find it really intriguing to see them. This is not the wind that professionals would play in by choice, practice in by choice. There's not two ends to the range here like there is in a lot of resorts and golf courses that we play on tour. So they only have one option to practice here, and it's on this downwind left to right. So that's why the range for a Tuesday is not as busy as it normally would be, because it's not ideal conditions to be practicing. Because it makes you come over the top, and that's not the move that golfers like to have. I
know that one very well, Paul. Out of the Americans, who are you looking at that stands out? I mean, one name that springs to my mind is Jordan Spieth.
Boy, yeah. I mean, I like Spieth as well too. Yeah, you know, he does move the ball around. We're going to see Scotty Scheffler now in a minute, who's a high ball hitter and obviously a lot of form this year.
Jordan will be disappointed with the way he finished off the Scottish Open yesterday, but as we know, he's a prolific winner and a former Open champ. But you mentioned Scotty Scheffler. If we can just turn the camera round this way, and he just arrived at the range about 5-10 minutes ago, and he's got straight down to business, hasn't he? Yeah,
just watch how high he hits the ball here. I mean, you can't see it here, unfortunately, on the camera, but it's a high ball. It's a high ball. We're going to see Howell in a minute, who'll be hitting it a lot lower, more of a one-plane swinger. But again, I'm looking for the guys who got this ball under control in these windy conditions, and this is not the normal golf that these guys play.
Do you like that trajectory?
I like that, yeah. See the way he turned that into the wind? That ball had a bit of right to left in it. Now, it was still moving at the end a little bit from left to right, but it was under control and it was spun. Which is something Dustin Johnson wasn't doing. Dustin Johnson's same iron shot would have run an extra 10 yards, which is more out of control. So watch this again as he turns it, and he kind of gets on top of it, turns it into the wind there, tries to put a bit of draw into it to hold it in the wind, bank it against the wind, and
he likes the look of that.
The skill level here is just unbelievable.
So he's not got any. Can you hear that wind? He's not got. I reckon that's about 25 miles per hour now.
Yeah, today's the windiest day they're going to have all week. It's going to be blowing in a similar direction all week long, and it's going to be a little bit lighter.
That was a beautiful shot, and you can tell he likes it as well.
Yeah, you can see what he's doing here. He's trying to turn the ball from right to left here.
Just amazing his story, isn't it? 3-time winner before winning the Masters Championship.
Yeah, I mean, he just ignited. See that one there?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Watch that one is dancing when he hits the ground. And, as much as it's going to do in these firm conditions, it really is a really, really high skill set to play in these conditions with these firm ground conditions.
Well, we've moved on to Howell III, who was, if we just turn around here, we'll say goodbye to you in just a moment, but he's in our background, and he was
been in Ireland,
over in Ireland. What's he been doing?
Well, he's playing links golf courses. I was in Ireland last week too, and it was dead calm. There wasn't a breath of wind, so I thought he wouldn't have practiced much in these kind of conditions, but he was playing Portmarnock, he was playing the island, he was playing with Shane Lowry, who's his great friend, and
such a great personality, entertaining so many people over there, and a fantastic golfer as well. Okay, for now, Paul, we're going to go and get a little bit of respite from this wind, but it's brilliant to watch the players up close and personal. We will see you in just a moment.
Max Homa, this is a bit more like St Andrews, isn't it? A big wind. How hard is it out here?
Yeah, it's hard. It's fun. I think links golf provides like opportunity to hit different shots. As I raise my mic,
Yeah, get it right in there. It's windy.
Yeah, but it provides opportunity to still hit a good shot here. It's just going to be hard to do so, but it's fun because if you get it on the ground as fast as you can run it up to the green. So but it's not easy. It felt pretty easy yesterday.
Yeah, this hole in particular, the 11th, one of only 2 par 3s. How hard is it into this wind coming off the left? You found the green, but it's a pretty wide green.
Yeah, this is the biggest green ever. Yeah, I don't know. It's like you almost just can't aim far enough left, and you almost can't hit it low enough. So it's just about over exaggerating all the feels I guess I would have in the States. Well, even this would be an insanely windy day at home, and I think this is just another Tuesday in Scotland. So.
It sure is. How are you enjoying your experience at the 150th? What a special week it is.
Yeah, this is easily the coolest week and it's only the second day. It's the coolest experience I've ever had in golf. I don't know. Everything from staying at the Old Course Hotel and being able to look over 17 to walking around the town yesterday to everything. It's the coolest damn thing I've ever done.
Nice. And how are you enjoying the week, I guess, off the course as well? You're getting to see a bit of the township?
You saw a little bit. I went to the college yesterday.
Apologies for that. I've got to leave George and Max. What a player, Max Homa, 16th last week, first 2-time winner of the season. Big Banner won the first event of the season and ended up becoming a 2-time winner on the PGA Tour this year. Well, this is live at the range. We've got TopTracer for you. We've got lots of golfers out there. We've got in-round interviews, on-range interviews. And earlier on this week, Rory had a little chat to the press.
Seeing out on the golf course in terms of the way it's playing compared to when you've been here in the past, and any adjustments you're making to your game or your clubs from what you've seen?
Yeah, I think everyone's seen how firm and fast the fairways are, and the weather looks pretty similar for the rest of the week. So I'd say the greens will get, the greens are still quite receptive and there's a lot of grass on them, and they're quite lush. Still have a very firm first bounce, but they're receptive if you hit a well enough struck iron shot. It's I've played this course mostly in September, October time, the Dunhill, where it plays completely differently. So then it's sort of hit driver everywhere, get it as close to the greens as you can, and then take your chances from there. I think this week you're going to maybe see guys laying back a little bit. The pin positions are the hole locations that they'll use this week are very different than what they use at the Dunhill, for example. So laying back, giving yourself full shots into some of these greens, playing the angles a little bit more. I think that's going to be really important this week. It's definitely a lot more of a strategic golf course when it plays like this. Even the drive I hit on the second hole yesterday, and that pin's in the middle of the green, and I felt like I couldn't hit a chip shot that close, so I putted it from whatever it was, 60 yards. So you're going to see a lot of that this week. I think if you hit a lot of drivers, you may get too close to some of these greens, and then it would be advantageous to lay back and give yourself fuller wedge shots into some of these greens.
Okay, Stephanie on the right, please.
Hi, Rory. Given your form so far and everything that surrounds the Open this year, do you feel that this could potentially be your year here at St Andrews?
I hope so. I've only played one Open here before. I got off to a great start and got caught out in wind, not too dissimilar to what's out there today. But yeah, I'm playing well. I'm in good form. My confidence in my game's as high as it's been in quite a while. So, I can't go in here thinking that this might be my time. I just have to go out and play a really good tournament. I got to string 4 good rounds together, and hopefully at the end of the week that's good enough to win. But I'm happy where everything's at, and I just can't get ahead of myself and just have to make sure that I prepare well the next couple of days and get myself in the right frame of mind for Thursday.
It's the greatest walk in golf. I mean, it's just the best feeling.
The people were just unbelievable.
You had to walk your way through 50, 60 people deep. That was an incredible experience.
That is a very cool scene to be right in the middle of.
I mean, I had to keep my composure to play golf. They'd already awarded me the championship, but I still had to play.
It's like the old medieval days in the Gladiator, baby. I've just defeated the guy. I've killed all the lions and everything, and I'm going to go eat now.
For me, it's the most special walk of all the championships I've played.
How many guys do you see walking down there and they all take their hats off to acknowledge the crowd? It doesn't really happen everywhere else. It happens there.
Welcome to Live at the Range. Blustery conditions out here this morning. The temperature a little cooler than it was yesterday. There's the defending champion, slightly light of the form we've come to expect of him. 5th at the Masters. And then a couple of miscuts, 4 performances outside the top 25, but he did have another 5th at the US Open, so he's bringing it in the majors. How do you like his chances to defend, Simon?
It'll be very interesting to see if his game, you know, could work around this golf course. I have to say I was so impressed with his game around Royal St George's, although it wasn't so windy, but some of the shots, the precision of the shots, I think, was what was so impressive. So has traditionally been sort of more of a one-dimensional ball flight. That's that little baby fade you see there, partly helped by the wind, but certainly that is the shot shape he sees. And his accuracy, I think the very slow rhythm, it's not a thrash rhythm, is it? And so I think when you've got a sort of, although there is a big change of direction, but it's a very stable pace, and probably that helps you to manage your shots in the wind.
Yeah, that shape will certainly stand him in good stead on the back nine, be able to attack quite a few of the tucked pins over there, guarded by nasty little pot bunkers on the right edges of greens.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's very easy to build and skillful, super skillful to build kind of like a one-shot golf swing. Like, man, we'd all love that. But then, you know, if you put him up against a John Rahm, a Tiger Woods of old, a Shane Lowry, they've got just so many more options to get the ball into different angles. So super impressive player, Morikawa. Let's take a closer look. He's got a couple of drivers that he's whacking out there now. 170 ball speed is what we're looking for. So yeah, right around that. You can see that's 109 feet, so that's probably like his normal shot. When we saw Tiger hit his stinger, that was more like a 60-foot apex, so that's obviously 40 feet high. Stretching out a little bit.
So on the way out, it'll be down the right-hand side of most of the fairways, and if he can avoid the bunkers and a lot of the gorse bushes, it'll certainly create a nice angle for him to attack flagsticks. Missed a cut last week in the Scottish Open. I wouldn't be too worried about that, because last year when he played in the Scottish, he made the cut and finished dead last out of those that made it through to the weekend. We all know what happened the following week. 4 rounds under 70. And a winner spectacularly of the Claret Jug. As your defending champion, what a player he is. Number 8 in the world, only 25 years old. He's only been out here 4 years. And he's already a double major champion.
You know, St Andrews itself is such an amazing place. The town, it's just everything about it. I feel very fortunate that was my first one, and we play a lot of big tournaments in the world, but the open venues that we go to are all really special. But for me, the best tournament and the most special tournament in the world is the Open in St Andrews.
On the tee from the Republic of Ireland, Shane Lowry.
When you get announced in that first tee in St Andrews, no matter whether it's the Dunhill, whether it's the practice round, You know, it's just special, and it's probably one of the only courses in the world where I go to where I actually really enjoy playing my practice rounds. I can only imagine what the RNA have planned for the 150th Open in St Andrews. It's going to be really special, but the fact it's going to be the 150th, I'm sure it's going to be pretty cool. And winning the Open, I'll be forever grateful that I got to achieve something like that. That's the only way I can describe it, like the fact that my name's on that trophy, and when you look at it, it'll never be taken away, so that's pretty cool.
Great opportunity for everybody to get in there close and watch some of these stars of the game. Slightly chillier conditions out there, but it's still a decent temperature. No sign of rain on the horizon. There he is. 2021, he became Europe's #1 when he won the DP World Tour Championship and the race to Dubai in November. And he became the 3rd youngest to reach a world ranking of #2 behind Tiger and Jordan Spieth after a very successful 21 and early 22 season.
Yeah, he really exploded onto the scenes, you know, straight from the college system of the US, which really prepares its players for PGA Tour and global success. So came out super fast and was just amazing. Harding Park, success there in the lockdown. Had a great chance to become #1 player in the world at the Hero Tigers tournament, and nothing really happened. So imagine he was up on the 18th green. Right, how far can a player get down there? So probably got to hit it 345 and catch a bounce. So that was his total, with the run out 353, and so you can see that puts him just short of the Valley of Sin on the left. So just incredible graphics now that we can move these shots around just to give you an idea. So here we go, have another go up.
Of course, the interesting thing is, because he's on the range where it's off the left, if he was on the 18th tee, he'd get another 30 yards with a breeze straight helping. So slightly straight. In fact, I'd suggest that 353, he'd almost make it no problem with a straight down breeze.
So Morikawa, 170 ball speed with a bounce. That's not going to be too far away. That'd be a great line in, wouldn't it? It's fascinating to watch. You can just see the power of the modern game. Let's see if he's got another shot for us. So Colin Morikawa is on the driving range. We're capturing that shot with TopTracer and putting it out onto the 18th hole, just to give you an idea of how far Morikawa's drives goes and what you can expect during the week.
We always used to say that the line off the 18th is very much over the Swilcan Bridge, the clock on the right-hand side of the Royal and Ancient Clubhouse. Some of the players will be taking a much tighter line just over there up the right-hand side on Hamilton Hall, the big orange building behind the 18th green.
So here we go, the Morikawa pitch, right at 291. Well, you can see we're going to be seeing some shots drive straight onto the green with this wind. It is going to be a fascinating week. The driving range on a strong left to right wind. First 7 shots really at first 7 holes at St Andrews kind of go in that same direction as the driving range. Then you turn back for home. So, well, after the loop. So here we go, Morikawa. Slow hips. Let's see what we got. 170 ball speed. These are good shots. Morikawa in good form, I think.
That's about the tour average, I think, on the PGA Tour. There or thereabouts. Yeah, they're just under the 300. Of course, that's the flat carry. They're going to get plenty run on these crispy, sheen-coloured little fairways. Well, that's enough for the defending champion. Let's catch back up with Di Stewart.
Thanks very much, Andrew. Yeah, we're stood behind Shane Lowry, who's got a bit of an entourage with him. There's quite a few people surrounding him, I think more than any other group here. He's got his shorts on. It's still quite warm, actually. It's about 20 degrees today. But Paul, tell me who all these people are around Shane.
Yeah, he's got an entourage, all right. You're right, Di. He's so nearest to him with the bucket hat is his coach, Neil Manship, who's been his coach since the amateur days. Neil's also coached to the Irish amateur team and does a great job with all the young guys coming through. And then the other guys around him, he's got his agent there, Brian, as well, and obviously Bo is caddy, but the rest are all Strixon guys, and that's his manufacturer. And the guys, they're a Japanese company, and they've come over this week. They all come over for the Open Championship, so they're looking at probably new grinds, stuff that's going to be coming out in the shops maybe in 6 or 9 months, getting Shane to give him some feedback, stuff like that. And if Shane likes any of these, he may well put them in the bag this week. It wouldn't be unusual to see a player change his lob wedge or his sand wedge this week because of the bounce and the very firm ground that there is. And generally they don't play with a lot of bounce when the ground is as firm as this. So he could be fooling around with different wedges, and that's why he's getting the input of the guys from Strixon and Cleveland.
So it's a busy time for the manufacturers, isn't it? With the turnover of golf clubs.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely going to be some changes of equipment this week. We're going to see a lot of guys putting in a 2-iron, maybe some might put in a 1-iron, and looking to hit those bullet shots, those stinger shots as they're called now. And also, as I say, the wedges will be changing a lot. Some guys might even use a heavier putter because the greens are slower this week. The R&A greens, the greens are always slower at the Open Championship. So they might put in a heavier putter, so they're not having to change their tempo in their stroke. So they're the kind of small changes. In driver, they might be taking a little bit of loft down. So they're not maximising for distance this week. It's more about controlling lower trajectory. And you know, in these hard left to right winds that we spoke earlier, it's about watching Shane hitting drives there earlier. He was a great wind player. He's turning it into the wind and he's holding it against the wind. So he's not trying to maximise distance and ride it the way a sailor would out in the sea, trying to get maximum speed out of the wind. They don't want to do that. It's all about control.
Yeah, he's turned his body to a different angle. He's hitting it more into the wind now with his short game, which is so important to do, isn't it? Hitting into different winds and. But the practice beforehand, how important is that in these practice days?
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Huge. This is completely different. You know, it's like, you know, we just seen Wimbledon last week and grass. It's like going from a grass court to a hard court, and the ball reacts very differently on the ground. The ball will be running 30, 40 yards, even with a wedge. You know, normally they're backspinning it on these soft greens that they play in a week-to-week tour. So there's huge adjustments going on here. Mentally, you're seeing the shots different. You're visualizing different. You're playing different yardages. The ball doesn't fly as far because we got the heavy salt air, which is always you know, in play obviously on the links golf courses. So there's loads of adjustment going on, and that's why so many players come early to the Open Championship. Why the Scottish Open was so important, because that was a real good way of kind of not just getting over the jet lag, but adjusting to the firmer conditions and adjusting to the heavier air.
It's not necessarily a terrible thing if you miss the cut at the Scottish Open, because you get an extra couple of days here at the at St Andrews, which is so Saturday, Sunday.
Morikawa played really badly at the Scottish Open last year, but he says that the reason he had 4 rounds, he almost finished last, having made the cut. But he said the big advantage was that at least he had some under his. You got a chat? Come in, have a chat.
Come on for the Ireland final now.
Come in, have a chat.
No? Good to see you, Shane.
I was just talking about football.
Oh, tell us. Yeah, you.
Well, he had his Donegal colours on a few weeks ago, and he had his Dublin colours on at the weekend, and they got beaten. So I don't know what he's going to have on for the final.
See, my mum and dad are Donegal, so I'm allowed that, and I'm from Dublin, so I'm allowed that too.
That you are allowed that. You are allowed that. Shane, just really quickly, we've just been watching you practice. What exactly have you been doing, hitting to different winds?
I've just been. It's a strong left-right wind. It's not a great wind to practice in, so I'm just warming up to go play.
Okay. How many holes today?
Very windy today. Oh, who knows? I'll play. Tyrrell wants to play 18. I'm playing with Tyrrell, but I'm not going to play 18. I'm going to play maybe 10 or 12 holes today. Just it's going to be quite windy. It's going to be windy tomorrow. I think Thursday is not as windy, so you know, I know this place well. I've been there a good few times, so I just kind of keeping going and counting down the days.
Have you ever seen it as firm, the ground?
No.
Yeah.
Like even here, I'm trying out some different bounces on wedges, and even here, it's soft here. And then you get in the golf course, honestly, it's as firm as I've ever seen any golf course ever. So
last question. On 17, wind off the right-hand side, how close to the hotel are you going?
Oh. It's a tough tee shot. You have to hit it over. You actually have to start it over the hotel to hit the fairway. So.
Oh, we want to see that.
Yeah.
Well, I've probably been in the left rough. The left rough's actually not that bad this year. It's actually not that bad this year. It's like, look, it's a 4.5, isn't it? So you're trying to make it 4, and run to the 18th tee. It's one of those. So
average 4.66 in 2015. There you go. There's a stat for you.
I'll take one over for the weekend.
Okay, fair enough. Listen, thanks so much for your time. Cheers, buddy. Well, I'll figure out where his allegiance lie and let you know. Yeah, okay.
He's always slagging me about that. He's from Offaly. You know, we've in Ireland we got 32 counties, and in Gaelic football you can only play for the county you're born in.
Right.
So he's from Offaly, so obviously that's his county.
Yes.
So he was saying that I'm playing. You know, I'm from Dublin, so I should be supporting Dublin, but
Totally.
I do have an allegiance with Donegal too, with my mum and dad.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
And he saw me. I was on TV wearing the Donegal colours, and he saw me. So I was caught. I was caught.
You were caught. You can never get away with anything because you'll always there'll always be a camera that finds you. Oh, great stuff. Well, yeah, he's going to play a few holes with Tyrrell, who is just behind us. He's warming up as well. But for now, let's get over to George and see what he's up to.
Welcome to the 14th fairway, and it is very, very social golf in this group. Richard Bland, Justin Rose, Robert Dinwiddie. 3 balls right next to each other. The wind is absolutely humming over our right shoulder as Rosie starts doing some maths. 232 yards to the front of the green. Earlier in the day we were with Tiger Woods and Max Homa, and it was into the wind. We've made the turn and it is coming right over the right shoulder. So naturally all of these balls have made it into the left rough. The rough isn't too thick, it's wispy, so it's gonna have enough of an effect for you to stop controlling the ball. .232. Looks like a layup for Rosie. .250 with a jumper. He's got 6 iron in the hand. Could you
hit 5 if needed?
Could you hit 5? This is proper links now, ladies and gentlemen. The wind is humming. It's great. A lot of fun out here today. If we get 3 days of this, it's going to be an interesting Open Championship. 6 iron it is. Looking to get a little flyer, but he's got a lot of grass. It's just juicy enough, this rough. Enough to make you think you can attack the greens and make you think you can go for it. Yet it just grabs the hosel ever so slightly. There it is, lovely draw. Nice comfortable layup. From big Justin Rose. As he makes his way over to one of the most talkative people in St Andrews at the moment, Justin Rose. Good morning, how are you?
I'm great. Who's the most talkative, me or you?
Well, that's a good question. We're about to find out. But
paid to talk, I suppose.
That's right. How are you enjoying this? This is proper links conditions now, isn't it?
It is. I didn't really check the weather today. I wasn't bargaining for this. I thought, oh, you know, nice sunny day in St Andrews, be a nice little practice round, and wasn't expecting the 30-mile-an-hour wind, but obviously it's a lot of fun to be out here without a scorecard in the hand today. I'm not sure I'd be enjoying it quite as much if we had to pen in, you know, the scores, but yeah, a lot of fun. Obviously, nice to play with Blandy, you know, Hampshire's finest over there. And obviously, yeah, Rob Dinwiddie, who, you know, that's the great thing about the Open, you know, is that you get to catch up with guys you haven't maybe seen for a decade, catching up on his story and what he's been up to. Obviously, we played the European Tour for a while together, and, you know, you lose touch with guys like that sometimes, but it's cool to see him keeping his game together and back out playing the Open.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? A great little group you've got going on here. How's the course at the moment? It's running firm and fast, so there's going to be a lot of balls just sneaking into the rough, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we all hit pretty good tee shots there, to be honest with you. You really have to challenge the wall, so, you know, mentally you've got to, like, take on. That's the great thing about this golf course, is that it is wide open, but you get conditions like this and you have to start hitting premium shots. You know, you have to hug the wall here, and, you know, if you want to kind of be aggressive on 16, 17, 18, you're going to have to hug the out of bounds. And it's all, you know, this is a great, you know, it's an easy golf course to play safe on, but safe doesn't win you the tournament, so you do have to step up.
And for you as an experienced campaigner, do you prefer the wind? Do you think that might get rid of a few cattle if it's blowing, or how do you like the conditions to be?
Yeah, I think there's a sweet spot, right? If it blows 30, 35, it can kind of blow some guys just out of it, because it becomes a little bit of outdoor bingo if it gets too much. Yeah. But at the same time, I think you want that nice 15 to 20, which keeps the golf course honest. It keeps the players who have complete control of the ball, gives them the opportunity to still score well. And I think the key is, when there's too much wind, putting becomes a bit dicey, you know. So I think you still want to have that level of, you know, fine control. If you hit good putts, they're going in. You know, I think that's obviously, that dictates score so much.
Nice. And finally, Rosie, St Andrews, 150th, one of the greatest views in golf. How special is this week?
Yeah, actually, about the walk from here, 14th fairway in, you sort of start to see the town emerge. And, you know, as the town gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, you kind of start playing into that little amphitheatre. It's unbelievable.
So thank you very much, Rosie. You've always been a great campaigner for interviews during the Open, so appreciate your time, mate.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Have a good week.
Thanks, buddy.
The champion golfer of the year, Tom Watson.
To the next 150 years of Open golfers, respect the game.
And it's there. Watson has this desperately difficult third shot to play.
These links courses have been around long before you were born, and will be here long after you're gone. But don't get mad at the wind, the rough, or the bounces. You're in the hands of Mother Nature, after all. Play hard, but play fair. Be known for winning, or losing in the right way. If you're lucky enough to have your name etched on the Claret Jug, look at those names before you. Realize that everything has led to this.
Welcome to Live at the Range. Still a lot going on. Not a lot of people spending too much time over there on the range, because you can see a very strong breeze out the left-hand side, which is not a favourite of many of the right-handers. Of course, just down on the range we have the open zone. We've not been down there so far this morning, so let's get down there and catch up with Henny.
I am so very happy to be joined by Golf Channel's Martin Hall here in the open zone. Martin, thank you for coming in. It's quite the breeze here today.
You've got that right, Henny. It really is. It's if it blows like this week, it is going to be a real challenge, no doubt about it.
This wind is a challenge anyway, regardless, but on this driving range, we're at the end of it in the corner here at the open zone. It's coming straight off the left-hand side, which is just the wind that you don't want to practice in. How do the players try and counteract that and manage their game when they get out on the golf course?
Well, I think there's two things here, Henny. First of all, if the wind stays in this same direction, which I think it is, that means the first 7 holes that they're going out this week is going to be hard left to right. So if you're a right-hander, that's extremely difficult, because the worst bunkers are on the right side of the fairways, as we know. But look, the act of actually hitting a ball in left-right wind, very difficult indeed. If you could just pass me my driver.
Yes.
I'm just going to hit one with the driver here, and if you just hold the hybrid, which we're going to need in a minute. You really have two choices in this left-right wind. You can either let it ride on the wind, which is not my favorite and particularly difficult in a situation like this. I'm going to try and let this one ride on the wind. I haven't hit many shots this morning, so we'll see how we do. But I'm going to start at about the 150, and maybe the tracer can show you, if I don't fight the wind, how much this ball is probably going to move to the right. And you can see how far that ball could move to the right.
That's gone.
Well, we wouldn't want that, would we?
No.
So, look, you have two options. You can either, and it's not my favourite, you can either just align yourself left, more left, more left. And in this type of wind, I'd probably be starting it left of that scoreboard to try and get in the fairway. Big problem with that around St Andrews. When that ball comes down, it's coming downwind, bouncing into the right side of the fairway in some of those nasty bunkers. So that is why I've had you as my caddy this morning. And in fact, what I would tell people to do at home, if you're playing in the left, right wind, wherever it might be, take a more lofted club. I've got a hybrid here. And if you take a more lofted club and then just toe the club in a little bit. I wonder if my camera lady could come in here a bit, or perhaps zoom in. I'm actually going to toe this club in a bit. That means close the club face a little bit. And that will somewhat counteract the wind. The loft of the club plus closing the face will help it, make it more likely I can hold the club on this wind. The other thing I'm going to do is absolutely have a bit of a feeling of taking the back of my left hand, my lead hand, and turning that down to the ground. So in the left to right wind, can you hold it? I'm not sure. Should you hold it? Probably if you can. I mean, I'm on this side of the camera, not over there getting ready, so I don't know if I could hold this one or not. But I'm going to turn the club in a little bit. I'm going to just try and make sure I close the club face a little bit coming down. And I might, if I'm lucky, I might be able to hold this ball in the wind. Let's see what we get here.
Oh, yeah.
And I did hold that one a lot straighter in the wind. Now, I think the wind is going to get it no matter what. And so it makes practicing on this practice ground today, it makes it a real challenge. I'm not sure we'll see many people out here this week, Henny, if it stays like this. But if you were, then I would say get as far to the far end of the range as you can and hit as far this way as you can so you're almost hitting into the wind. I'm reminded of the words from the great Ben Hogan. Ben Hogan said this: for every day you practice in the left to right wind, it'll take you 2 more days of practicing to get right back to where you were. So be careful of practicing in left to right wind. The guys are going to have to warm up in a left to right wind this week, but I don't think we'll see a lot of activity on the range because of these conditions.
Martin, very wise words from yourself and Mr. Hogan. I don't know, 2 days seems like a very quick recovery. It takes me about a week.
I doubt it. Not for you, Henny.
Thank you, Martin.
You're very welcome.
Oh, 2 weeks for me. Delighted to be joined by two-time Open champion with Nick Faldo, Fanny Sunesson. Fanny, great to see you here on the range. It's wonderful. We were just talking beforehand. You love coming back to this place, don't you? Especially because you won the Open with Nick in 1990, a great win.
Yeah, I mean, this place is magical.
Yeah.
It's so special. If you're a golfer, the town is amazing, coming and walking the golf course. I walked the course this morning because it's just so nice to be here.
Oh, did you? That's very early. What time did you start walking?
6 o'clock, I was out.
Paul, were you out then at that time, walking the fairways? Were you up?
I was walking around, was walking to the bathroom at that stage,
Okay,
I think.
fair enough. Fanny, now take us back to 1990, because when you're walking down that fairway, when you see the big leaderboard, they let the crowds loose, didn't they? It was quite chaotic.
Yeah, they did. I mean, it was a really cool moment because Nick hit his tee shot, and then as we walked off the tee, he said to me, look around, you know, enjoy this moment. And I probably wouldn't have if he hadn't said that. So we walked up to the ball, you know, hit it up, second shot up, and they let the crowd go, and we had to run because the whole crowd came up, and we sort of popped out through the crowd onto the green. So it was unbelievable. To be able to join him in that was just, yeah, so lucky.
Fanny, I got a question on 1990 with your win around here. One of the few caddies who's won around here. Not many people have won. Give us a little insight into the strategy about what Faldo was. He was very much a positional player. You know, it wasn't the power players we have nowadays. Tell me a little bit about his insight and how he saw how to unlock the keys around St Andrews.
We tried to actually avoid hitting into the bunkers, obviously, but the bunkers cost you a shot, really, and they cost more because they're steep edges. So we played left a lot. You know, people talk about hit it left. You know, it's okay if you miss left, especially coming in. Some of the holes coming in, they put the pins are close to these hills on the right-hand side. If you hit it left, you have a better angle in, especially if the wind is from the right. So we try to really hit into the safer areas and then try to have good angles into the pins.
So before he went out, did you and him sit down and kind of plot how you were going to attack certain pins, or was it just something you worked out during the round?
We worked it out before. When we walked the course, I walked the course plenty times before, and I walked the course in the morning to see the pins, so I knew exactly where the pin was. I mean, there's big greens here, and we had a plan we knew approximately where the pins were going to be, so we had a plan beforehand.
Okay.
It's almost like you need a psychology degree, isn't it, when you're a caddy, to deal with different personalities. How did you gel with Nick, and how did you figure out when to speak and when not to speak?
I mean, Nick, he's now family to me. I mean, we are both perfectionists, and we gelled really well together. When we were at a major, it was like we were one. I mean, we worked so well together.
Read each other without actually having to say much.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. I mean, he was fantastic to work for. I mean, obviously he was a great golfer, but I mean, he was fun to work for because we had a plan and we sort of stuck to it. If we missed a shot, then I knew what we could do because I looked at the course really well. So, I mean, I'm
never any arguments or anything?
No, I can't remember any arguments. He might do, but I can't. No.
That's amazing. And then obviously you had the 5 years with Henrik Stenson, a totally different personality.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fiery personality. We've seen he can lose his temper, but again, an unbelievable golfer. I mean, he's got shots that not many golfers has. And Swedish, it was tough in the beginning. Caddying in Swedish, we had a lot of laughs where I was doing Swinglish because I caddied in English for that.
Swinglish,
yeah,
that's brilliant.
So it's fun to work for him too. And we have a junior event together now, so we're still in contact, and we just had that a couple of weeks ago, so it's fun.
Oh, tell us about the junior event.
Yeah, we've had it 5 years, and we have juniors now. It's international, which is great, and our winners get to play in the Faldo European final. So we're going to Abu Dhabi with them, and we want them to develop. So we try to share our knowledge with the juniors there, and we just want to grow the game and give back. So it's fun to do that. And I had a chipping challenge with 57 kids this year, first time. So we're going to do that again.
That's fantastic. I mean, how much is this game given to you? How much do you get out of this?
It's given me everything. I mean, this game, I've seen the world, I've met so many nice people, I've got to work outside. It's just amazing. I mean, without golf, for me, I couldn't even imagine it.
Standout moment from your career, what is it?
Well, I got to say, here, 1990, walking off that 18th when Nick said, savor the moment. I mean, that is one of the moments that's very special.
Yeah. And Paul, it's difficult when you get mobbed, isn't it, by crowds of adoring fans. You've had it as well. I mean, Ryder Cup moments and moments in your career. There's something so special. But Fanny alluded to the fact that Nick said to you, absorb this, take it all in, because sometimes we miss those moments, don't we?
Yeah, you do. You get caught up in the emotion of it. But, it all happens so quick. But it's amazing, though, when I go back, to good moments I've had, I can remember them very vividly as well, too. Yeah, they get really into the hard drive there in the head, and you never forget it. And the emotions come back very quickly when you see it as well. And, when I go to a Ryder Cup now, I can see it. And even when I meet players in the range that I've shared moments in Ryder Cups with, I've got that. So I can relate to what Fanny is saying with Nick. When you spend such intense moments together, they're just not easily forgotten. So I totally get that, Fanny, and it was great. It was great to see. I mean, you were way ahead of your time. way ahead of your time in how you and Nick approach it. You know, Nick was one of the great strategists. You know, and you were very much in that mould as well too, in terms of preparation as a caddy. All the caddies now walk. You know, you were one of the first to do all that, and all the preparation you put into it. So it's great to see you still going so strong, Fanny, and well done. It really was great.
Yeah, it's really great. And I got the pleasure of sitting next to Sir Nick Faldo at dinner, at JP McManus dinner recently. So we talked a lot about Nick's, you know, he's retiring, isn't he, at the end of this year from his commentating, and moving to Montana, and so told me the names of all his animals on his farm.
Yes,
Really into his animals, isn't he? Loves his dogs as well.
And the fishing. He's going to do a lot of fishing. And, but I'm sure we're going to see him at some tournaments. I think he's a great.
Stay away, will he?
I hope we see him at a few.
Great stuff. Listen, we'll let you crack on with your day. Enjoy walking around and doing all the things you've got to do. It's lovely to chat to you. From us on the range, back to you guys in the commentary box.
My first Open was up in St Andrews. I was around about 11 at the time, and it was electric. You know, this gentleman had missed his shot, and you could feel like the atmosphere, you know, kind of growing. You know, it was just all gearing up to this one big thing. We watched him do this putt. It was at the 18th, and it was a do-or-die shot. This was a once-in-a-lifetime golf shot, and it was like, will it go, will it go, will it go? And then, oh, and then everyone exploded. It was just like, whoa, what is this? This is out of this world. Hands in the air. It was like someone had scored like the winning goal at a cup final. And I was like, wow, this is something special. I was there when Constantino Rocca hit the putt that no one else could hit, you know, when it mattered.
Welcome back to Live at the Range. Tim Barter alongside Wayne Riley this afternoon, looking at Jordan Spieth, 2017 Open champion, out on the range. And the wind today off the left-hand side, hard radar. It's a difficult wind to practice in, yeah?
It's always the same here, Tim. Hello, everyone. Yeah, it's over your left shoulder, and I never did. The two Opens I played here at St Andrews, I never spent too much time on the range because it was always left to right, and it can just rehearse an over-the-top shot. So it's not an ideal wind by any means.
Yeah, the players really don't enjoy the wind into their back. As Wayne says, there's a really strong tendency to swing the club to the left to try and counter the fact the wind's going to blow the ball across from left to right. An over-the-top move, it's often called, and it really can spoil your golf swing, get you too steep into the ball. And I remember once at Wentworth going down to the World Match Play Championship and being told by the guy on the range that Jack Nicklaus had actually refused to practice in the left to right wind. He wanted to go down the other end, but he wasn't allowed to. Jordan going through his routine there with a medium iron. You can see flat carry of 173 yards. He's got this peculiar move that he's making, Wayne, up to the top of the backswing and rehearsing what he wants to do. But he's swinging the club really well, isn't he?
He's one of the guys, top 15. I've put a list down, my own list, who's going to win this championship, and he's certainly in it. With the short game he possesses, he is certainly a chance of lifting the Claret Jug for the second time. Yeah, he rehearses the over-the-top move because he obviously comes from in to out. And he just wants to get more of an over-the-top move, get it over the top, hang on, and slide it from left to right. And since he's been doing it, he's improved his driving so much, and he's strengthened his grip a lot. He had a very weak no-knuckle grip, we call it. Ideally, you want a 2. In modern-day golf, you want 3, but he's to 1 now, and it's improving his driving so much.
Such a difficult thing to do, though, to actually change your grip, because, you know, he's grown up with that grip throughout his life, working with his coach Cameron, and obviously that's the way he feels comfortable. It's like the way you hold your knife and fork or your pen. It's a really difficult thing to change because it's going to feel completely alien to start with, and it doesn't match your swing to begin with either, so it's going to affect the club face positions all the way through the swing, and notably at impact. So it's a really difficult thing to do, to change your grip, and as you say, he has done so.
He's been through a fallow period where he lost his way a little bit in his golf swing, but he seems to be back on track now. His results are improving all the time. He's a winner again, and he's starting to build up that confidence that we know is so crucial at this level. Let's have a look at the swing here.
He's an amazing character. He plays golf right-handed, but if you watch this week or any week, he marks the ball left-handed, he tees it up left-handed, he does everything left-handed, but he's a right-handed golfer. Tom Watson was very much the same. He is very much the same. Tom was here yesterday for the Champions gig.
He was. Joy to see him. He just got married again last Saturday. Tom got married at the age of 72. So he's here on his honeymoon, effectively. There's the move we're talking about. He says, when I've spoken to him about it, that it helps him set the club the way he wants to set it. He helps the rhythm and the tempo of the swing that he wants to have. And it looks really peculiar, but it's obviously just a feeling that he has when he uses it that allows him to then make the swing he wants to make. And it's worked really well. I don't see him stopping it anytime soon. There's the move. You can see the club looks like it's wiggling around all over the place, but it's basically to counter what he does wrong. There's his coach behind him, Cameron McCormack, worked with him since he was a young boy. And it was great that he went through such a difficult period, having been a champion early and won major championships and got to the very top of the world rankings, and then really struggled with his game, but he stuck with his coach, he stuck with his caddy, he didn't make changes. And so many players do make changes and they sort of think, well, I need a new coach, or I need a new caddy, or I need a new management company, whatever it might be, new clubs. But Jordan basically said, no, this is my issue, this is my problem, I will resolve it. And it took quite a while to get him back on track, but he's definitely one of the favourites here this week. Well, one of the good things about our channel is that we can use technology to show you what would happen to Jordan's shots that he's hitting on the range if he was to take them out onto the golf course. And we're going down the first hole here. It's a 356-yarder and a hole you know very well, Wayne. The widest fairway in the world?
Yeah, but it makes you very nervous when you're standing on it at the Open Championship. You know, you don't want to miss it out of bounds right, or you don't want to miss it out of bounds left. It's just one of those. But it's so very wide. It depends where the flag is. You know, if it's over there on the right-hand side, you want to pump it way right over there on the 18th fairway to open up the angle. You've got so many options off the tee.
So there's Jordan's hit that he's just made on the range. And we can see the effect that it has going down this first hole. We know the wind is hard off the left on the first 7 holes of the course today, so everything is going to be moving from left to right in the air. But obviously, as Wayne says, plenty of room over on the left-hand side to aim out there and allow the ball to feed backward towards the middle of the fairway. So Jordan about to hit another one, which we can... Brilliant technology, isn't it? He hits a shot on the range and we can see what happens on the first. So when the players are playing this hole in the tournament, Wayne, because it's a short par 4 and obviously... You know, you're looking at trying to control your spin into the second shot. Do they plot their way down this hole? Do they hit a club that will leave them a certain yardage into the green?
Absolutely, you do. If it's into the breeze, you'd hit as much as a 3 would. Never really a driver. It could bring the swirl and burn into play. But you, as I said, you can aim it at a situation, at a position that will open up the flag. So, look, it's a hole number 1 at the old course at St Andrews that will certainly play this week well under its par of 4. As 18 will. They're both birdie holes. You're just thinking birdie.
One of the things that Jordan quite often does on the range is hit shots, as I think he's doing now, in almost slow motion. He's got a sort of medium iron in his hand here, but the shot he just hit, maybe the next one will be the same. He swings very smoothly and hits them almost gently, and it's not just because of the wind. He was doing this last week in Scotland as well, but he does it quite often. I think it's to get the feel in his golf swing of what he's working on with his coach Cameron. So it's an important lesson, I think, that the club golfer can learn from as well, that changing something at high speed is very difficult. If I asked you to change your handwriting whilst you were trying to disguise your handwriting on a Valentine's card to your wife or whatever for a bit of fun, you'd have to slow down in order for her not to recognise your handwriting. If you wrote at full speed, she'd know it was you. If you're trying to change your golf swing, trying to change it whilst going 100 miles an hour is very difficult to do. taking the speed out of it, slowing it down, rehearsing the moves that you want to, and hitting gentle shots can actually really help you get the feeling of it, and then gradually you can add speed as you become more accomplished with the technique.
You're such an old romantic.
I am. I do write Valentine's cards to my wife.
Do you?
Yes. I'm sure you do as well. You haven't got a wife. When you had a wife, I'm sure you wrote them.
Moving right along.
So let's go out to George Harper Jr. on the course and see what he's up to.
We've made it down to the 16th tee, joining up with our main man Tiger Woods again, talking to Mark Steinberg of XL. The crowds are massive here. They are growing as per usual. Nothing new with the big cat. As he cruises to the 16th tee, everyone here is so excited to see him in St Andrews for the first time in a very long time. Is it the last time they'll see him here at St Andrews? Let's hope not. Looking very calm as he enters the 16th tee, which is very tough with this wind over the right shoulder. And I'm sitting in the crowd. Ivan,
yes.
How are you, mate? How cool is it to watch Tiger?
Unbelievable. I can't believe Tiger's right here. And in St Andrews, 150th Open, it's a dream come true.
You're from Argentina. What brings you over to Scotland?
Tiger Woods and the 150th Open.
So you've come here just for this championship?
Yes.
All right, make sure you get this photo. Get the photo. Concentrate. There he is. Straight to the iron. Is this the first time you've ever seen Tiger Woods?
Yes, the first time. It's unbelievable.
What does he look like in the flesh? What do you think?
Unbelievable. I have no words to describe him.
No words. That's what Tiger Woods does.
Yeah,
and
real dream.
Make sure you video that. Make sure you video that. You can show mum and dad at home. A lot of players are missing this fairway left onto the other side of the course. It's so hard. And Tiger's done the same. It's so hard with the out of bounds on the right to take it on. So he's laid well back. He's going to have a very long second. But we know Tiger doesn't mind playing irons off the tee. If we remember back to Royal Liverpool, only played one driver for the whole week when he won his Claret Jug there. He's in the zone, that's for sure. Adrian Meronk must be loving this back nine with one of the greatest to ever play the game. If you weren't watching earlier, Meronk won the Irish Open a couple of years ago. My apologies, a couple of weeks ago. I feel like this Open's making me a couple of years older. It's all go here. He's a big unit, a tall piece of timber. And he too has stayed well away from the out of bounds. But here he goes. Tiger will get a clap as per usual. He remains emotionless. He is in the zone. Can he give these fans something to cheer about for the rest of the week? Let's hope so. How good is it to see Tiger Woods here at St Andrews? It's special stuff. This week just keeps getting better.
I would wake up, would watch the Open, and then you'd watch these guys, and then I would literally run to the range and try to imitate everybody. So I was trying to swing it like Adam Scott's, swing it like Tiger. I think the first time I ever played the Open, it was at Murfield, and I think I made an 8 on the first hole. I've always loved it. I've loved coming over here. It's just so much fun. It's because it's different. I never realized it till I played. You come over here and how actually appreciative the fans are of a good shot. St Andrews, I'll start with the golf course first. My favorite golf course in the world. I can play that every day and not get tired of it. My favorite place in the entire world. The town is just so much fun. I guess the history and the atmosphere that while you're playing that golf course that you also feel in the town too. I mean, it's always exciting to play St. Andrews, but you know, to have the 150th there, I think is really neat. Shows just how special that place is. As a player, it's, I think, the best place in the world to play. It's the home of golf.
Well, I'll get back to the range and see Danny Willett, a Masters champion, working away with his manufacturer by the look of it there, Ian Garbett, who used to play on the tour. Now works for one of the manufacturers and helps the players get their equipment absolutely spot on. Danny working away with a little ball between his forearms, connected to a neckband so it doesn't come out. You can see the idea is to try and keep his forearms the same distance apart all the way through the swing. Keep it nice and connected. A lot of players use these, different formats. Martin Keimer, certainly, a man that I coach. Richard Bland also on occasion uses something very similar. It just helps the players keep the connection between their arms and their body, keep their elbows the same distance apart. You can see you can just dangle it between the forearms and connect them up, and then try and keep the pressure the same. If your arms do come apart, you'll drop the ball, and in his case it would stay around his neck, but there are little devices that you can buy, like the one Danny's got on, and give it a try. See how it works for your own game. What do you like most about Danny's game, Redder?
Oh, he's just a tough cookie. He's just one of those. The first player I ever saw with a ball was Nick Faldo at Wentworth PGA Championship, the BMW PGA Championship, way back in the day. He showed up with this big old, like a netball, and he had it between his knees, first of all, and I thought, what the heck are you doing, Nick? And then he put it between his arms, his forearms, like Danny Willett does, and I thought, you've finally lost it, Nick. And, well, 6 majors later, it seems to be working. Maybe I should go down to the sports store this afternoon and get myself a beach ball.
I was going to say, I'd like to see you out there with a beach ball between your knees, and I think that would be quite amusing. Danny works with Sean Foley, who worked with Tiger Woods for quite a while as well, as his coach.
Just a wonderful coach as well, Sean Foley.
He is, and a wonderful man. He's a mentor to many of them as well. He's a very bright guy and almost a philosopher, and he keeps the players in the right mental state, as well as obviously all of his knowledge of the swing.
He likes the big occasion, does Danny Willett. He's won down there at Sun City. He's won the BMW PGA Championship. He's a big-time player. He's one of those guys. I wouldn't say he's the most consistent player, but when he's ready to rock, you wouldn't be surprised if he won anything.
No, that is his amazing talent. He can actually have times when he plays quite poorly for quite long periods and then suddenly gets a chance to win, comes out of the blue and takes it. He did it at the DP World Tour Championship after a long period of not playing very well at all, and then suddenly pops up there, gets in contention. You think, can he knock this off in that he hasn't had any experience of contention recently, and cruises through to victory. And he's done it several times in his career. One on all sorts of different golf courses, one in the deserts of Dubai, one in the mountains of Switzerland, one at Wentworth, as you say, one at Augusta. So he really can adapt his game as well. And how important is that factor as a professional golfer, to be able to adapt to different golf courses?
There's nothing wrong with being inconsistent. Like, his career is trending in the way that I don't remember him winning a small event. They are all big ones. They seem to get his mojo going. The big championships, and that's great. That's okay. You can disappear for a couple of months, just as long as you keep coming back, like this Sheffield boy does. He just continues to come back, win big events. Like, he's got a green jacket. This guy parades around when he's making toast in the morning with his boxers on and a green jacket. I mean, it can't be bad.
You are a man. I must admit, I was talking to Adam Scott once about winning the green jacket, and he said, when I won it, obviously you're allowed to take it away with you for the first year, and then you have to leave it at Augusta National. And he said, I took it away with me, and I hung it in the house, and every time I walked past it, I had to put it on and just look at myself in the mirror and think, wow, look at that. How cool is that? Danny used to work with Pete Cowan on his golf swing, and I remember asking Pete about his game, and he said he just has a knack of feeling comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And what a great skill that is as a professional golfer, to actually get out there and under the pressure and the circumstances these guys face sometimes when it gets really tight down the stretch. He said he just has a knack of feeling comfortable and doesn't really feel that pressure to the same degree as others.
He has a lot of nervous energy. He'll talk to anyone. He'll walk around the range and just start chatting, and then he'll go back to his business. Incredible. He's an incredible player, a wonderful talent. I remember when he first came on tour, I said to myself, what the heck have we got here? And, well, we know now he'll be looking forward to having a crack when the Ryder Cup count starts towards the end of the year, early autumn, for Rome next year. Don't discard him from being in that team.
No, I think, as you say, it's just a question of that consistency. If he can consistently perform, because you need to do that in a Ryder Cup build-up with the points available. You know, 1 or 2 wins will do it for you if you can knock them off during that period. But ideally, a little bit more consistency from Danny, and he's lacked that throughout his career, really. Just looking at him hit some wedges here, carrying the ball about 110 yards or so.
It's a good grip. He tinkers with the flight a lot, Tim. He goes from left to right to left. I remember when he won the BMW PGA at Wentworth, I was out with that last group, and he hit the most amazing shot into the last hole with a 5-iron, and he hit a nice draw to the 18th green at the Great Wentworth. Under pressure, he's as good as they come. Little hold-off shots there. So he's rehearsing things that will be required to lift the Claret Jug come Sunday evening. Little punch shots, sawn-off follow-throughs. That's what it's all about.
Well, Danny there having a chat with some of his team. Let's go down to the range and find Di Stewart.
Thank you very much, Tim. Just catching up with David Howell, who had a bit of a nightmare journey trying to get up here yesterday. Took a while.
It took a while, half an hour at York, and then we stopped at Newcastle. 3 hours
Lovely
there.
Newcastle.
Went to get on another train, couldn't get on that one, so another pint, and then an Uber from Newcastle to Cooper.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
The journey from hell.
Okay, you're here. Are you happy to be here, David?
I'm delighted to be here. Yeah, what a great spot to be.
It's
Open
fantastic.
Championship, the 150th Open, here on the range, in the sunshine, nice breeze, nice company. What's not to like?
Well, thanks about saying it's nice company. That's wonderful.
I wasn't talking about you.
Oh, right. Yeah, everyone else on the range. Brilliant. You are a winner on this golf course, 2013 winner of the Dunhill Links Championship. It must bring back great memories coming here.
Well, it does. It's always a treat. You know, we come here every year, obviously, not so often at the Open Championship, of course, but everyone loves coming to St Andrews if you love golf, and there is nowhere better in the world than, if you like golf, than to be here this week. Special place. It's the most special week of all, and it's just looking perfect, isn't it? It's windy, it's firm. It's going to be an incredible test for these guys.
As a winner on this course, has anyone asked for any advice from you?
Funnily enough, no.
Why
but
not?
What I can say, there is nowhere better in the world to make a winner's speech. Of all the things I remember from my victory, to make a speech on the steps of the R&A Clubhouse is something that's just amazing. It was. Of all the things that happened that day, that was amazing.
Did you nail the speech?
Oh, well, I was quite good.
Remind us.
I enjoyed it. It was for me. It was all for me. But
I hope
no,
you've
that
got
was
it on
really,
tape.
but genuinely, really, what a lovely place to be able to make a winner's speech. So whoever wins the spoils this week. There we go, Zach Johnson. We can see just behind the cameraman here.
Let's have a look. Yeah,
he's done that. He's won round here.
Yeah.
And got to speak to the galleries and accept his prize. And amazing.
Totally. Well, 2015 playoff for Zach Johnson. His game, for viewers just tuning in who may not know too much about Zach, just tell us, how does he plot his way around the golf course?
Well, Zach is a plotter, I would say. He's getting on in the years now. He's kind of my era, so he hasn't got the power of the youngsters. Plays with a very strong left-hand grip. He's got kind of one-dimensional type of golf swing, and he's got his own style, and he's stuck with it for 30 years now, nigh on. And it's very, very effective. 2-time major champion. He's won here, and obviously won Augusta as well. So two iconic venues, the two best venues.
Important. He wasn't very happy with that shot.
He wasn't so happy with that one.
No. He's got something on his leg, on his left leg, if you can see.
Yeah,
he's got some kind of tape going on.
Yeah.
What kinesiology? What is it?
Kinesiology
That's
tape. That's
I was
the
so
right
close.
word. Very good. Very good.
Kinesiology tape. That's it.
Yeah.
What does that do for our viewers?
Well, I don't know what it does really. It gives you an excuse, doesn't it? It gives you an excuse if you hit bad shots on the range. No, it's supposed to get the what's the word? The myofascial release going or something.
Ah, got you.
Yeah, that's what the physios talk about.
David, if we just move slightly further down, the gentleman next to Zach on the range is Jordan Spieth with his hand on his hip, who obviously winner of the Open Championship 2017. He's come straight off the back of the Scottish Open. Didn't have a great finish at the Scottish. Dropped a couple of shots on the way. I think he finished 3 under par coming from the Renaissance Club. But he's tweaking a few things, but loves Open Championship golf. He's got such feel and creativity around the greens. Would you be putting a little flutter on him this week,
Yeah,
maybe?
I think his form was pretty good last week, wasn't it? You know, as you say, he was up there. Didn't quite happen, but that's no bad thing. You need good breaks to win golf tournaments, and maybe they just didn't quite happen for Jordan last week. But as we know, he's an Open champion.
Yeah.
He knows all about links golf. Has actually mentioned that it's his favourite type of golf, which for a classic PGA Tour player straight out of college, 10 years ago, to have fallen in love with links golf so early in his career is a great thing. And he's a class guy, class player, and he is going to have something to say about this championship, I'm sure.
What is his routine at the moment then? What is this? Do they all have different routines that they go through?
They do. I mean, I've got to say, much as I'm loving being on this range here this morning, this is an awful wind for the guys. The turf is incredibly tight.
Yeah.
The wind is hard off the left, which is just the worst wind in the world for a right-handed golfer. So I don't think any of them are really enjoying this range session this morning.
No.
However, it does mirror the outward 9 of this golf course with the southwest wind. Once you get onto the second tee, you get this wind for the next 6 holes, and then you make the turn and you get the complete opposite on the way back. But this left to right wind is an incredibly difficult one to control the ball in.
Yeah, Shane Lowry had a quick chat with us as he was leaving the range. He said it's the wind on the range right now is not the wind to practice in for too long.
No.
So kind of 20 minutes and then leave. He's going to play about 6 or 7 holes today.
Indeed, maybe. And you'll hear that a lot as well because it's a slow golf course, Andrews. We know that.
Yeah.
It just gets log jammed everywhere you look. There's someone waiting to play golf rather than actually playing.
Yeah.
Just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. So yeah, I think 9 holes is kind of the order of the day.
Yeah, we've got Darren Clark just behind us here, chatting with Pete Cowan and Paul McGinley, who I've been speaking to all morning, and he's got a great tan on him, hasn't he?
He has.
My
He
goodness.
lives, where does he live, in Bermuda or somewhere kind of like that, isn't he? Playing on the Champions Tour now, Clarkie. 3 former Open champions in a row here. What a lovely scene.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? It's and the crowds are really swelling. I mean, the view here, we have the grandstand overlooking, and the crowd is really building to this side of me. It's the perfect place to come and watch golf, and we've got every angle covered here. We're covering this major championship like no other. We've got cameras everywhere, our reporters are everywhere, TopTracer technology. The guys in the box are doing a brilliant job covering the swings of the golfers down here, and we're out and about on the course as well with George. But for now, we're going to head back to we're going to watch this for a little bit longer, aren't we, David?
We're going to stay.
Don't go anywhere, because I know you love my company.
There we go.
We will see you in just a moment.
We've made it to the 17th, the road hole, one of the most famous holes in golf, and Tiger is about to tee off. What line's he going to take? here on the 17th. The Old Course Hotel. Which letter do you go for? I'm getting comfy with all the snappers who have one of the best views in the house, trying to make money shots. And here comes Tiger. He'll get a round of applause as per usual. He's loving it. What a view. I can feel him breathing on us here. Whoa. I feel ridiculously close here. He's pulled the big driver. What line's he going for, Joe? What letter is he hitting over here? The right O? Okay, the right O. Red flag. He's going to have to wait. Tiger just asking if he's going colourblind. That's not a good sign. We've got Warren Little, one of the great photographers, next to me. Warren, how important are these photos?
These are massively important pictures, mate. He always gives us something. It's always, when you're working with Tiger, there's always a picture to be had in every turn. And here we're going for a silhouette. See the clouds up there? Nice. So I get Tiger follow through for the shot here. Be nice with the clouds all silhouetted, so that's what we're going for.
Is St Andrews just one of the best spots to take photos?
It is. I mean, especially the 1st, 2nd, 17th, 18th, those are real key holes, you know what I mean? So you've really got to switch on around there. But it's a marvellous experience all around. You've got the town, you've got the history, and you've got Tiger, you've got it all there, you know what I mean? It really is everything.
Well said. Well, we've got a front row seat here, don't we? I feel like we're in his pocket.
We're a bit too front row, so we probably have to whisper. We wouldn't be doing this during tournament.
No, that's right. We've got the luck of the warm-up rounds here as he talks to Joey LaCava.
Even all these moments here, some pictures are going to be had, like a nice picture here of Tiger with his head cover, talking to caddy. There's always pictures, so when you're in this area, you shoot as much as you can. Well, it's all good, yeah, I mean, the light's nice here, backlit, we see here.
It's a green light. Are we okay here, Tiger? Thanks, mate. Oh, God, I feel like he's going to hit me. Jeepers, this is scary. Oh, majestic, magical, perfect. Tiger Woods. I don't think I've ever had a better view of a golf shot than that. Whew. That was super special stuff. I'm wearing too many layers, I'm overheating. It's pretty exciting. Oh, wow. That's a big ball. Well done. Well done to everyone. Well done, Warren Little.
Cheers, George.
That was a truly special experience on the road hole. It doesn't get much better than this. Whew. That was so good. So low, so behind the ball. Launching it over the corner. Yeah. We're doing all right here. We're doing all right here at the 150th.
Well, George is clearly having fun out there. Great access right behind Tiger, watching the ball launch. That must have been exciting, particularly at that hole.
I haven't seen a New Zealand get so excited. Georgie boy, you know, since the All Blacks win, which is all the time.
Just give me your thoughts before we talk about Rory on Tiger this week, and how do you rate his chances, and what sort of state you think he's in? You were with him last week at the JP McManus Pro-Am walking around the course, so you've seen him up close and personal play just last week.
Yeah, well, it'd take a brave man to say the great Tiger Woods would emulate his wins here. But look, I was one of the first to admit, that I never thought he'd win another major, and then he goes out in 2018 and wins the Masters. And look, I mean, Tiger Woods, he's a great champion, and this golf course, Tim, doesn't suit a certain style of play. You look at long hitters who have prevailed around here, but then the last winner here, Zach Johnson, is by no means a long hitter. So anyone can win this championship. I've got it down. I've got a list of my own of 15 players. I don't think I'll be far away, and this guy is certainly Rory McIlroy on that list. He's trending in the right way. I watched him win over there in Canada a few weeks ago, and he won so very well. He blew them away, really, in the end. He was in complete control. So Rory McIlroy, he's Harry Diamond there. He's caddy, one of his childhood friends. He shortened that backswing a little, and that's a great thing because he's just trying to play a lot of punch. He's flattened the trajectory out quite a lot, has Rory McIlroy. He can control his wedges. He can control his spin. Look at that. That's not even 3/4. I've never seen Rory swing like that in the respect of the backswing being so short.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair comment. I look forward to him getting into a bigger club and seeing whether that's maintained, whether that's something he's doing because of the prevailing wind condition off the left-hand side, and he's just, as you say, controlling the flight. He's won 15 times around the world and some massive championships since his last major. What do you think has held him back? Does he just want it too much? Is he getting his own way?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I feel as though his wedge play hasn't been as good as it once was when he was winning all those majors, but he's dialing that in. And look out, if Rory McIlroy can get his wedge play to an average wedge player's distance, proximity to the hole, I mean, he's putting very well under the guidance of Brad Faxon. So he's trending in the right direction as Rory McIlroy. I played a few months ago with his dad and him down at Seminole, Nick Doherty and myself, and just for a hit, let's just go out as mates and have a game. It was just unbelievable. And I'm seriously long off the tee, and he was out driving me by 60.
Wow!
It was so impressive. He went out and shot 66, 6 under in the wind, on a tough golf course of Seminole in Florida, West Palm Beach. It was so very impressive.
Did he take your pennies?
Oh, I'm not sure. How do you have a bet with Rory McIlroy? What would you like to play for, Rory? A
shots.
$5? You want to play for a $5? It's like, no, we just had a game. And
what a thrill, particularly at Seminole. Great course.
Oh, he's a champion guy. What you see is what you get. There's no airs and graces about Rory. He's been brought up very well, and he's just remained that way. He's just a normal Hollywood guy from Belfast. He's a pleasure to have in our game.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to go over to Hollywood and spend some time with his dad, and he took me round where the family home was, where Rory hit his first shot, showed me his first ever golf club. And it was funny with the golf club because he wanted Rory to grip the club in a fairly orthodox way, and he put some dots on it with Tip Excel, sort of the correction fluid. He put some dots on the grip and said, right, your thumb should go there and whatever, but leave it to dry for about half an hour before you try it. Anyway, he said he came back 10 minutes later, all the dots are smudged because he just couldn't keep his hands on it, off it. So he was desperate to practice and get on with it. And he used to apparently have a golf ball in his pocket every day he went to school. He just had the golf ball in his pocket, just there all the time. And I was chatting to him yesterday during the celebration of champions, and reminded him of the fact that he did a project on Tiger Woods when he was about 7 years old at school, and he said, this is my hero, this is my inspiration, this is the guy that I want to emulate when I'm older. And he's gone on to be a great friend of Tiger, obviously matched Tiger in terms of some of the majors that he's won, and yesterday they played together in the celebration of champions, and I was lucky enough to ask him about that, and he got quite emotional, saying, to think that an 8-year-old boy, I would end up in this situation with Tiger Woods as one of my pals, you know, when he was a hero of mine and an icon of the game, and somebody I thought, well, will I ever meet him? Will I ever see him up close? And now they're good friends.
He's one of the most natural players I've ever seen. He's right up there with Seve, I believe. Seve was the most natural player I ever played with, I ever saw. Just the way he goes about his business. He's born to have a golf club. Look, watch the arms just hang. He doesn't extend his arms out there. They just hang. A great grip. And he isn't a tall man. 5'10", around there, I'd imagine. Works very hard in the gym. He's a role model for everyone. Look, he's box office. He seriously is. He's incredible. And he's an inspiration. As I said, you speak to him, look, he's just a normal guy. He just really is.
Let's go to the 11th tee and use our fantastic technology to convert Rory's shots that he's hitting on the range onto this par 3. And, oh, that's just got onto the front edge. There's a viciously deep bunker in front of this green, isn't there, Wayne?
There certainly is, yeah. It's a toughie.
So these wind conditions, left to right, with this hole playing as you know it does, and the green tilting in the way it does, what's the tactic when a player stands on that tee? What type of shots are you trying to hit?
Well, the thing that gets me right there, 167 yards, and it plays 1 yard downhill. Do you know, it's almost an I knew it is downhill, but it's an optical illusion. I mean, it actually feels as though it's slightly uphill. And I think that might be to do with the water in the background. It's almost like an infinity pool, a horizon pool. And what you've got, it's not a big target. That bunker on the right-hand side room, well, it's in the middle of the green. It shares the 7th green, which is a par 4. And it's a huge green. It must be, 100 yards in width. It's wide, though it isn't deep, and it tilts severely from back to front. And there's a little catchment area at the front, which will be a popular spot this week because, and you don't want to come up shy into the breeze because it could stall and you'll go down into that little catchment area just short, and there'll be some scruffy little divots down there, so you don't want to be there.
Rory practicing alongside Lee Westwood. Here's another shot from Rose. He doesn't know he's playing the 11th, but we do. Just about finding the front edge. Somebody shout, Rory, take half a club more.
This is a noisy part of the golf course during the championship, folks. You'll be watching that. There are grandstands all around here. The other par 3 is over there on the 8th and the 11th. They are so very close together. The 8th shares the 10th green, so that's another double green. So within the space of 80 yards, there are 2 huge double greens about the size of Wembley.
Gentleman in black, you can see in the background there is Pete Cowan, famed coach. Coached so many players, so many major champions. A very knowledgeable man. He's worked with Rory a little bit. They had some time together and he still remains a sort of consultant. Rory's always worked with Michael Bannon since he was a very young man, and what a fantastic job Michael's done in making the player he is. But Pete did come in for a while and just give Rory some advice, I think, particularly on the wedge play and controlling the trajectory and spin. And he works mainly with Michael again now, but calls Pete in occasionally just for a second opinion, just make sure he's doing all the things he wants to do.
We don't speak a lot about Rory's grip. It's just it's textbook. It's a fantastic grip. It's a 3-knuckle grip. When I say knuckles, you can see down on your left hand how many. Look, let's have a look at this. Look at that. That's just a gorgeous. It's a strong grip. That's why he can hit it so far. He can release on it. He can pound on it. It's just a textbook. Take a picture of that, boys and girls, if you aspire to play great golf, because that is as good as it gets.
It's interesting with the grip. He's interlocks, so the little finger on his right hand interlocks with the forefinger on his left. And Jack Nicklaus did that, Tiger Woods did that, Rory McIlroy does that, and yet only about 10% of golfers at this level interlock. So the majority overlap.
Yeah, they all copied Tiger. I mean, Tiger did that. I mean, Jack did that. So Tiger copied Jack, and the interlock there. Overlap grip. Back in the day, it was called the Vard grip. Harry Varden invented just the overlap grip where your right hand, as a right-handed, that your pinky sits on top of the left-hand forefinger. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, honestly, if you like either, it's not that important whether it's interlock or overlap.
There is Michael Bannon in the foreground of our shot with the backpack. So he's keeping a watchful eye over Rory. His takeaway has always been crucial to Rory. Literally the first 2 or 3 feet of the swing is where he really has to work and has to monitor all the time, because at times if the club gets away too much on an inside arc, goes round his body too quickly, then it leads to compensation in the swing. And if he takes the club too much on the outside, trying to avoid his trait of taking it inside, he can overdo it at times and then feels that he loops the club down on a different line to compensate again. So the takeaway, the first part of that swing, is really the key. If you can get that first 3 feet correct, the rest of it seems to flow beautifully. But that takeaway has always been a little bit of an issue for him, just fluctuating between too much inside and too much outside.
Especially with the driver, Tim. You bang on with the driver. Once he takes it ever so slightly on the outside, it seems to go up there and he loops it and drops it on the inside, and then it creates havoc.
Yeah, then you get the block to the right, or the hands try and save you, and you get the hook to the left. So a two-way miss when the club comes from behind you. With Rory's swing, his hips move so quickly on the downswing. They get out of the way so fast that he is in danger of leaving his arms behind just a fraction. And when he has problems with the takeaway, those two things together can cause him problems. But he's been swinging the club really, really well for the last little while, and is potentially very dangerous this week, Rory McIlroy.
You are a great coach. No, you really are. I love what you say about the golf swing. It just makes sense. You don't complicate it, Tim. It's bang on, man.
Here we go with the long iron then. Driving iron off a little tee. Let's see what sort of trajectories and numbers we get. Ball speed of 166. That's high for a long iron. Apex of 104 feet. Carry of 258 yards. Hey, would love to carry 258 yards with a long iron. 65 feet of curvature in that one, so that's the effect of the wind just knocking it over from left to right. It really is extremely strong. Unload another of those long irons. Beautiful posture, gently flexed knees, spine lovely and straight, arms hanging as Wayne suggested, and that's a good idea. You want to get your posture in a position where your arms can hang tension free. You don't want to be reaching out for the ball and creating tension in your arms. Just allow your arms to hang down from a good posture. Posture is such an important element of technique. It, you know, combines your distance from the ball, your angles, your plane.
It's the greatest walk in golf. I mean, it's just the best feeling.
The people were just unbelievable.
You had to walk your way through 50, 60 people deep. That was an incredible experience.
That is a very cool scene to be right in the middle of.
I mean, I had to keep my composure to play golf. They'd already awarded me the championship, but I still had to play.
It's like the old medieval days in the Gladiator, baby. I've just defeated the guy. I've killed all the lions and everything, and I'm going to go eat now. For me, it's the most special walk of all the championships I've played.
How many guys do you see walking down there and they all take their hats off to acknowledge the crowd? It doesn't really happen everywhere else. It happens there.
We've literally got the best seat in the house. We are just behind the 2014 Open champ, Rory McIlroy, watching him literally flush the golf ball, David Howell.
We are, yeah. I don't want to talk to you, Di. I just want to watch,
actually. I just want to stare at what Rory's doing.
He's just been clipping some 2-irons. I shouldn't say clipping. He's been absolutely flushing them. High, low, draws, fades. Just looks in complete control of his ball flight on this left to right wind. And it's a very impressive sight. If you like golf,
yeah,
you have to like this.
A little bit of right to left in that one.
Yeah, holding up against that wind.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy thing to do, because it's blowing 25 mile an hour. If you can hold the ball straight against this wind, you've put one heck of a lot of draw spin on it.
Yes. We saw Webb Simpson at the other end of the driving range doing just that. He had to move his trackman back because it was blowing over. Dustin Johnson was all left to right, but.
And that's kind of a standard shot he's hit there. It's just, the wind just peels it off about 10 yards to the right, and it's going to move a bit further when it lands. So
yeah,
setting it through it off down the left edge of a fairway and just letting it come back towards the middle. Looks nice and relaxed, doesn't he?
Looks really relaxed. And just remind our viewers what the technology is that he's got near his feet.
Flight Scope is the grey machine there that's sort of facing the ball, and that gives him some instant numbers back on the ball flight, the spin, the speed, how far the ball's carried. He's got TrackMan there, which he hasn't unzipped that one yet. That's the second launch monitor. I think he's thinking, do you know what? One's enough. I'm ripping it. Yeah. And
we had Bryson DeChambeau. He had quite a few bits of technology around him the other day. I think there are about 4 or 5 bits, but it's important to get some numbers on these practice days. But
yeah, I think, and all the guys, when they go straight into the wind, they'd love a session on this range where they're just going directly into the wind to see how far the 6-iron's going.
Yes.
That, the 6-iron's normally 200 yards for Rory, but to get into their heads, that it's maybe only going 140 yards.
Yeah.
And to work out that 60 yards different from the normal yardage is it's hard to get your head around, even for someone that's played links golf all their life.
Totally, and it changes all the time. The technology we're using is TopTracer here on the range. What's he gone? It definitely gives the viewers at home their best view from their armchair, doesn't it? So he's just got the driver out now.
Yeah, I would see some amazing ball flight speed numbers there. Another big draw from Rory on that one.
How far did that one go? Gosh. We're just going to get 281.
281
in this wind.
Into an off the left wind. Yes, Rory carries the ball 300 yards, I would imagine. It's about 60 yards past me. Very annoying. That's why I'm here.
Listen, I'm loving your company. Rory finished tied 3rd back in 2010. So he's not been to an Open Championship for 12 years. Not been to an Open Championship here at St Andrews for 12 years because he obviously couldn't defend his title in 2015 because he got the football injury.
That's right, the six-a-side match.
Yeah, that was it.
The fateful six-a-side match.
So it's been a while. It's been a while since he's come back to an Open here.
Yeah.
So it would be. He was speaking during the celebration of champions yesterday, saying, "I mean, it would mean so much to win the Claret Jug." At St Andrews.
And with everything that's going on in the world of golf at the moment, Rory's in great form. He seems to be, he seems to be in a very, very prominent position, like he has been for 10 years. But it seems like even more so at the moment. And of course, to break that run of non-majors for Rory, which has been far too long, you would have to think, for his liking and many of his fans as well. It would be nowhere better, would it, than to win the 150th Open here at the Old Course.
So much emotion going on here, and really great to see him back in the winner's circle, winning the Canadian Open on the PGA Tour, just to get those winning vibes again.
Well, which he did in fine style, didn't he? Taking down Justin Thomas on Sunday with a huge crowd, great atmosphere there, and he's in a great place, Rory. There's no doubt about that. With his game, definitely. And he seems to have an intent about him that he knows what it would mean to win this particular Open Championship.
Yeah. And do you like his game in the wind?
Well, I would say it's not been the best. If there's one downside, as good as he is, he has struggled in the wind over the years. As you say, 2010, he started off with 63 in the nice conditions, then 80, albeit in a storm. He wasn't the only person to shoot 80. So I wouldn't say he's necessarily mastered links golf in the wind over the last few years. Of course, he has won the Open Championship in fine conditions, as we mentioned. But it would be the win of all wins for him if he could pull it off this week. No doubt about it.
The difference over the past few weeks, wedge play?
Yeah, seemingly. Certainly in Canada, he was knocking it stone dead a lot. But, the interesting thing at St Andrews, a great wedge shot goes to 15 feet at St Andrews.
Yeah.
It's just not like playing target golf in America or something. Very, very hard to get the ball close to the hole. So you have to hold some long putts. It's a different type of golf, and that's what makes it so great.
It certainly does, and it's a golf course like no other in this weather. And a lot of players who are coming here for the first time, will they just be so confused and baffled by what's going on?
Oh, absolutely. If you haven't played this course before, when in this particular wind, when you get on these first opening holes and you just can't stop the ball moving to the right, and there's the bunkers. There's like 80 yards. 80, how much room have I got? You've got 80 yards.
Yeah.
I thought, why am I in those bunkers down there? You know. And then when you go left, the ball doesn't go very far. Then you've got a horrible angle in. At first glance, this course seems like a breeze. It seems so easy. There's so much space. This is going to be easy. And then as you get to know it, the nuance of it is just incredible.
Oh.
Every day is different. And it's stood the test of time, hasn't it? You know, however, hundreds of years people have been playing golf here. Yeah. And it's still an amazing challenge.
It certainly is. It can mentally destroy you and eat you up as Rory goes past on my right-hand side. Hey.
Rose.
He's in the zone, obviously. But the greens, the double greens, they fascinate me. It's so lovely as well. Loads of kids around and youngsters who he's such a role model to so many. But the double greens...
Thankfully, he's signing. That would have been bad, wouldn't it?
And he always does. He always signs his autographs. I've got a really fun stat for you, David. The fifth green, which doubles with the 13th, I love the fact that the numbers add up to 18. 38,000 square feet, which is bigger than the floor area of Westminster Abbey.
Is that right?
Yes,
that is a good stat.
Which is just massive. So our viewers at home can kind of relate to how big some of these greens are if you've not been here at all.
I mean, you get a pin sometimes, I'm sure they will do this week, the pin, you get like 240 to the front and then 100 yards on, 340. Nothing's making any sense here.
Difficult to practice those putts, isn't it?
Well, you can't. You have to get the wedge out.
We have to move slightly further back because there's quite a few people going behind us here on the range. Yeah, so we've been here for a few hours now, and you can see Rory still signing his autographs. He's a massive draw for all the youngsters, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He's been a star of the game, for 10 years now, hasn't he? And I saw him come. I played a practice round with him in his first Open when he played at Carnoustie when he was 16, and he didn't play very well. I played with him and Darren Clark.
Did you?
I thought I was the big cheese then.
You still
Who's
are.
this young lad? Oh well, okay. And he didn't play very well, and I thought, well, I'm not sure what all the fuss is about.
Well, you were so wrong.
Okay. Great judge of golf for me. And he just went on. And as soon as do you know what the nice thing about Rory is as well? Though his life's changed, but he hasn't changed. He genuinely hasn't. He came on tour as a very, very young man. He was, he was a teenager.
Yeah.
And he was a lovely kid. Yeah. And now he's, a global superstar. And he's a lovely guy, and that's a nice thing as well.
He's absolutely brilliant. I've just had a quick chat with his dad, Jerry, who was on great form in his bright white top. So great to speak to one of the McIlroys today, but for now we'll just take a short break.
St Andrews itself is such an amazing place, the town, it's just everything about it. I feel very fortunate that was my first one, and we play a lot of big tournaments in the world, but the open venues that we go to are all really special. But for me, the best tournament and the most special tournament in the world is the Open in St Andrews.
On the tee from the Republic of Ireland, Shane Lowry.
When you get announced in that first tee in St Andrews, no matter whether it's the Dunhill, whether it's the practice round, it's just special, and it's probably one of the only courses in the world where I go to where I actually really enjoy playing my practice rounds. I can only imagine what the R&A have planned for the 150th Open in St Andrews. It's going to be really special, but the fact it's going to be the 150th, I'm sure it's going to be pretty cool. And winning the Open, I'll be forever grateful that I got to achieve something like that. That's the only way I can describe it, like the fact that my name's on that trophy, and when you look at it, it'll never be taken away, so that's pretty cool.
Welcome back to Live at the Range, 150th Open Championship at St Andrews. Such a special place. There really is an incredible atmosphere whenever you come to St Andrews. All the history and the fact that the 18th hole is right in the centre of town. It is a wonderful spot. When there's an Open Championship here, there really is a buzz of electricity about it. And with the course set up as it is, it's going to be a very exciting week. Wayne, you've been out and had an extensive look at the course. Just give us some insight into how it will play this week.
Oh, it's going to be windy. I feel that is the case. But speaking to the R&A, they aren't going to give any soft flag locations this week. They are going to be difficult flag positions, and the hardest flag positions going out, because this golf course goes out and back, and there's a little loop in the middle. Going out when they are right, it's very difficult. And coming back when they are right, it's very difficult because you're hugging the out of bounds. So it's going to be a winning score. I don't know. It depends. They are saying that this wind is going to die down somewhat. I think 17, 18 is a pretty good pick. But it's going to be a wonderful championship. Doesn't matter what the scoring is. It's just incredible. And this gives the minnows in our game, the journeymen who have qualified for this wonderful 150th Open Championship at the old course at St Andrews, it gives them a chance. Look back, Louis Oosthuizen back there won this great championship by 8 from nowhere, and 2010. So look, expect someone that you are not a household name to be up there on the leaderboard come Sunday afternoon. Done back there in a few years back. The Irishman had a great opportunity going into the last round. So there are going to be a few ones up there that you've never heard of before. Whether they all win, we will see. Why not? I mean, this guy's got a great chance this week. Viktor Hovland, I mean, what a swinger. Even though he's been out of sorts for a couple of months. But he's trending in the right direction, his caddy told me. So all good.
It's one of the most athletic swings in the game. Has a strong left-hand grip. By that I mean it's 3 to 4 knuckles, so if he'd opened his palm up it would point slightly down towards the ground. This is the technology that we're using to take his swing and his shot and put it on the 17th hole. And he's gone into the bar, which isn't ideal.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Actually, it's bounced out of the bar into a bush, so he's out of bounds, but he doesn't know he's playing the 17th, so we're being a bit mean to Viktor there. He thinks he's playing the front 9 with the wind off the right, and actually we've got him on the back 9 playing 17. So again, he's launched that over the Owen Hotel, which would normally be a great line, but because of the wind... Well, actually, no, the wind's off the right. He's launching it too far right. Another one out of bounds.
Yes, you do. You do hit over a railway shed, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. There's no hole in the world like the road hole at St Andrews. It truly is so individual. It's
just on the right side, working with Sam Horsfield. There was Sean Foley, we spoke about earlier on, a fine coach. There he is just in the background there with the black top on. I think he has his hair cut, Sean Foley, on a daily basis because it's never a hair out of place.
Well, a bit like that's a chip off the old block.
Well,
it doesn't move in the wind either, a bit like yourself, Tim.
That is true. But his is phenomenal. I think he must bring a hairdresser with him out on tour.
Has he got a major in him?
Well, absolutely. He really has. He's won pretty much everything else so far in a very short time. Making all sorts of records as a Norwegian on tour. First to win on the PGA Tour, first to win on the DP World Tour. Phil Mickelson alongside him there with his back to us and the grey shorts and the black top. I say Viktor's swing, about 120 degrees of shoulder turn. His shoulders have turned 90 degrees by the time he gets the club halfway back. And he just keeps winding and coiling, and that's where the power comes from. And as you can see, just unleashes into the ball. I mean, there is absolutely no steer in that whatsoever. He just, it's like a bow and arrow. He pulls it back to its absolute maximum tension with all that coil and then just fires it, lets it all go. Generally hits the ball a little bit from left to right. So this wind isn't ideal for him. In order to hit anything like straight shots in this strong wind off the left, you'd have to apply quite a lot of draw spin to the ball, and that's not his forte. Generally moves it left to right. You can see the statistics coming up on the right hand side. Launch of 9 degrees, ball speed of 174. That's a little below average. So surprising for Viktor there. He would be an above average in normal conditions, so I think he may have slightly mishit that one, although it did go 295.
Teeing the ball a little lower there, getting ready for game day, usually tees it a lot higher than that and hits it on the up, but just teeing it a little lower, trying to hit a few squeezes out there, trying to flatten the trajectory out, get some chase out of it once he turns for home on the back 9 here at the old course. So he'll tinker with that, the height of the tee. Another one teed down, half the ball over the top of the club head.
Yeah, the modern players seem to tee the ball a lot higher than perhaps they did in your generation when you started out. All about trying to launch it high with relatively little spin. That's the way they're going to maximise their distance. And they've got all these launch monitors and computers that can help them understand how much spin they're creating and how much it's harming them or helping them. And they can try different drivers and shafts and everything to try and dial in the best launch conditions possible. That's really what they're doing. And the manufacturers work very hard with them to enable them to maximise their particular swing characteristics and get the right launch angle and spin. So Viktor's off to the course. As we've said already, that left to right wind is not ideal to practice in, so the players won't go out there for a big session. They'll just loosen the muscles and go out and play the course. He's never been to St Andrews before, so he's never played the course until this week. Is it a difficult course to go out and plot your way around if you don't know it?
Yes. Yes. The amount of times I've played 2 Opens here. I've played 2 Opens. I've played Dunhill Cup for Australia. I've played Dunhill Links and done a lot of broadcasting here. And every time, I kid you not, every time I go out there, I find a new bunker that I've never seen before in the rough. So you never stop learning around the old lady of St Andrews. It's just one of those golf courses. That's what makes it charming. It's just an incredible place. Little pot bunkers everywhere. You hit it in the rough, you think, oh, I'm going to get a lie here. And you go down there and you've found a sandy grave. What about the trousers?
He's borrowed a pair of yours, hasn't he?
He's dapper, isn't he?
I like the way the shirt colour matches an element of the trousers. He's very well coordinated, his Poulter. He does take a lot of pride in his appearance.
Every time I look at Ian Poulter, I think of that putt on Saturday evening at Medina, the miracle of Medina to keep them in the hunt. It was incredible. Every time I look at him, every time he comes over and speaks to me, I go, well, that's you. That's you holding that 15-footer down there and the fist just looking at everyone. They're all jumping on the green. I mean, what a Ryder Cupper he has been. He has been the man just... But the trousers? Wow. I can see you going to a nightclub in St Andrews dressed in those.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. Busting a few moves. That would be no issue whatsoever.
What would be the song of choice?
Oh, goodness gracious. Earth, Wind and Fire, I think, if I can have a boogie.
Boogie Wonderland.
Yes, I think that's a good shout. Good shout. You mentioned his Ryder Cup record on that incredible occasion at Medina, and I was there interviewing for Sky, and I interviewed him after he finished with 5 birdies in a row and given the team a heartbeat, essentially, because they were losing so badly, and they were still 4 points down, but his finish gave them the belief, it gave them the momentum the next day to go out and do what they did and win for Jose Maria Olazabal. And it literally, that one run of 5 or 6 holes with him and Rory changed the whole Ryder Cup. And gave them the momentum, even though they were 4 points behind.
The thing was, yeah, I was there working for Sky as well, and the thing was, I mean, what they did, Team Europe, they quietened the Americans in Chicago. Now, that's a difficult thing to do, to quieten a gallery in Chicago. It's a big old town, Chicago, and they were all there, and it just was silence. It was, I'll never forget. I can't believe it's 10 years ago.
Yes, I think probably the most extraordinary day I've had related to golf. Been around it for, well, 50 years now in total, and that was the most incredible day, and one you'll never forget. Poulter works again with Pete Cowan, the famed coach, on his swing. Nice orthodox grip again, good posture. Cameras are wobbling about a bit. It's so windy out there. These guys are working away at this left to right breeze. There's a tendency occasionally when he swings for his head to move forward towards the ball in his backswing, and that's why he gets the occasional shank, unfortunately. So he's actually moving towards the ball.
He'd never won over in the States until a couple of years ago. He won Houston. Sure, yes, he's won just below the majors, the WGC events. He won the match play. I think that was in Tucson, I think. And he also won in Shanghai, which I was... no, he won in Hong Kong, Shenzhen, actually, a WGC event around a Jose Maria Lathaport course, a fantastic course. Mission Hills.
It's always been a wonderful putter. I talked about the finish at Medina, but he generally is a very aggressive and a very high quality in his putting. Relies on that quite heavily at times. But he's become a much better ball striker in the last few years. I would say when he first came on tour he wasn't the greatest ball striker, but he really has worked hard at his technique and improved it significantly under the tutelage of Pete Cowan, and his ball striking's improved, and you know, at times he can really flush it.
I remember the first time I ever met him, it was in Qatar, and we were all upstairs having dinner, and in come this young lad, and he was dressed like a Philadelphian lawyer, and he had these shoes on, like the Great Gatsby, something that Barry Manilow would be proud of. They were all... And I said, mate, what's with the shoes? What's... Yeah, well, you know, I'm a stylish chap. Look, it hasn't changed. He's... Pulse is Pulse. We like him.
Again, an uninhibited swing. Lots of commitment in there, hits it hard. You know, now in his mid-40s, trying to keep up with those young guys that are launching it out there 300 yards plus. But he's got all the guile and all the craft around the greens that he could definitely compete here. Lovely move of the left side out of the way to make space for the arms. Lovely to watch them preparing for the Open.
To the next 150 years of Open golfers, respect the game.
And it's there. Watson has this desperately difficult third shot to play.
These links courses have been around long before you were born, and will be here long after you're gone. Don't get mad at the wind, the rough, or the bounces. You're in the hands of Mother Nature, after all. Play hard, but play fair. Be known for winning, or losing in the right way. If you're lucky enough to have your name etched on the Claret Jug, look at those names before you. Realize that everything has led to this.
We've made it to the 18th, and that's Tiger's practice round done and dusted. Just the back nine today, 9 holes, plenty of wind, and a lot of fun to be had. It's been great to watch this morning. Lovely way to start the day. This is when Mark really starts turning up the energy. This is where he comes into his own. A lovely photo. And we'll come over. If you come over here, we might grab Adrian for a quick word. Frank, if you can turn to your right. Come with me, Adrian. Sure. Adrian, mate, how was that, playing a nice back nine with Tiger?
That's amazing. That was amazing. It's probably made my week already. When I saw him on the tee, I just asked him if I can join him, and he was kind enough to say yes, so amazing.
Well, thank you very much, mate. I hope you enjoy the week. Yeah, that was awesome. As Tiger exits stage left, we will be following him all the way to the press conference, so strap yourselves in if you're watching at home. This is what Live at the Range is all about. We're taking you behind the scenes, and this is some of the stuff you don't see. I love this bit. It's hectic once he's off the course. Does he walk or does he get the courtesy car? That's the questions I'm thinking. because it's relatively close. But in terms of player safety, I believe he's going to get the courtesy car, which means we're going to have to hightail it. Look at the commotion outside the R&A clubhouse. In goes Tiger. There's a little bit of a traffic jam which could cost him here. How quick and smooth is that process? It's going to be a great press conference, so make sure you do tune in. I'm sure he's got plenty to say ahead of the 150th Open. And if you look around, the commotion of camera, media, everyone is absolutely flooding around. And look, poor old Joe, you're getting left behind. We've got a buggy. Joe, how's the practice rounds been?
So far, so good. A little windy today.
Yeah. But how much more testing is it in that wind?
It was no fun today. I hope it doesn't blow that way on Thursday. But we had a good time. It's nice to get a little wind while you're over here, you know what I mean? Get some of the elements. Proper golf, as you guys call it.
Proper golf.
Exactly.
Very nice. And thank you very much, Joe.
So George interacting with Tiger's caddy there. Tiger making his way over to the media centre, short drive in a very posh car. Being looked after beautifully. All the leading players will at some stage pop into the media centre for 15 minutes, half an hour, and talk to the world's media sometime on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before the tournament starts. Media have the opportunity to ask Tiger lots of interesting questions, one of which will be, how are you feeling? How's the body feeling? Could you compete this week? And he will certainly believe he can. He wouldn't be here. He's always told me down the years and told everybody that he doesn't play golf tournaments he doesn't believe he can win. So he will definitely be in that mindset. But we have seen him struggling physically. Couldn't play the final round at the PGA Championship because his body just wouldn't allow him to. Seems to be fine in the opening round and maybe the second round, but then as the week goes on, the physical injuries he suffered in the car crash really seem to take their effect, and his stamina isn't quite where he would like it to be. But you never say never with Tiger Woods, particularly here. This is his favourite golf course in the world, St Andrews. And one of the things he loves about it is the tactical nature of it, that you have to tack your way round. And when he won here in 2000, he didn't find one bunker, and there are hundreds of them out there. As Wayne was explaining, he finds a new one every year, and Tiger managed to play this golf course for 4 rounds, 72 holes, and didn't find one bunker. How incredible is that, Wayne?
Oh, it's incredible. It's just ridiculous, really. But he played away from the bunkers that year. He knew he was so very good with his wedge game, and his irons were sublime. And we know how great he was as a putter. So he just played back from the bunkers, just eliminated all of them. So on his way to victory, it just, yeah, he's just, he's Tiger. He's the GOAT.
Well, Tiger has made his way to the media centre. Let's listen in to Tiger Woods as he speaks to the world's media.
Tiger, after all that you've achieved at St Andrews in the Open and playing here, how much does it mean to you to be here competing in the 150th Open this week?
It means a lot. I mean, this is where it all began for me as an amateur. My first chance to play in the Open Championship was here. I never forget, I played with Ernie Els and Peter Jacobs in the first 2 days, and yeah, a chance to play with some greats in practice rounds. Freddie, Raymond, Ollie. It was Langer. I mean, I had a great time as a young little kid, and they showed me the ropes of how to play this golf course and how many different options there were. And it was eye-opening that how this golf course can play as easily as it can be played, and also as difficult it can play, and just by the wind changing, and obviously then when the tide changes as well. So just being here, I think this is my 6th Open Championship here, I think. Yeah, just to have that experience and just to have the ability to build play here at the Homa Golf is always quite special, and then to have won it twice is even that much more special.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, we'll take questions. If you can raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. It's obviously a busy room. We'll start with where are we going here? We'll start with you at the front, please.
Hi, Tiger.
Yeah.
How are you feeling in terms of your body, and how close are you to this being kind of as good as it gets?
Well, My body certainly can get better, but realistically, not a whole lot. It's been through a lot, and at 46, you don't quite heal as well as you do at 26. So yeah, it is what it is, and just lucky enough to, in our sport, to be able to play as long as we are able to play, and late into the 40s, and especially on links golf courses like this, you can contend into your 50s. We saw Tom have it on his putter to win, late in his 50s. So it can be done. It just takes a lot of knowledge and understanding how to play this type of golf, and with the fairways being fast and firm, it allows players who are older to run the ball out there and have a chance.
Okay, next question, Ian, front left.
Tiger, just how different does it feel this time around, it being the 150th Open and with so much emphasis on history this week?
It really does. It feels more historic than it normally has, and it's hard to believe that, because we are coming back to the home of golf, and it is history every time we get a chance to play here. But there's so much that's going on this week, to be able to play, yesterday with Lee Buck, and to hear him chatting the entire time over every shot as he's hitting the shot, and just to be able to have that type of experience. And tonight we're going to have our Champions Dinner, because we only do it here. And it's hard to believe it. It's been 150 years we played this tournament, and it's just incredible, the history behind it, the champions that have won here, and as I said, it's hard to believe it's more historic, but it really is. It does feel like that. This does feel like it's the biggest Open Championship we've ever had.
And just to follow up on that, obviously as a two-time Open winner, Greg.
Well, we are bringing you down to the range because we have a gentleman behind us who won a car last week at the Scottish Open. Jordan Smith on the 16th. David, what happened? Well, he obviously got a hole in one.
Well, yeah, he hit one shot and it went into the hole, Di, and that's what happens.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. It's been here a long time. It's all that hairbrush as well.
No, absolutely brilliant. Genesis, car sponsor last week, and not only did Jordan win a car, but his caddy very generously got one as well, Sam.
Oh, my
Sam
goodness.
Matton, my old Brewman at Swindon member.
Yes.
Look at him. Look, he's
Where
grinning
is he?
like a
Where is
Cheshire
he?
cat there.
Come over here.
Come on, guys.
Tell us, you won a car as well.
Yes.
My goodness, tell us about the car.
I don't actually know very much about it, to be honest. I know it's electric, and it's better than the one I've got. So apart from that,
what car do you have at the moment?
I've got a 1 Series BMW, but it's a little bit old now.
Oh, it sounds awful.
A lot of miles on the clock. It's done a lot of mileage over the years. Yeah.
I mean, how many high fives did you give Jordan when that went in?
Just one.
Yeah, thanks so much.
I didn't get very excited. No, it was unreal.
That's
yeah.
Well, what a great experience.
Yeah,
Should we get Jordan over? Sorry to interrupt your practice, but we're just so excited about the fact that you won a car and your caddy won a car as well. Great.
Yeah, obviously over the moon, and thanks to Genesis for putting up those prizes last week, and what an event they put on.
Yeah. How far was it? And what did you use?
It was 187 yards, and then I just wanted to hit 6, just let the wind take it, and Martin said knock it down a bit because it's a bit into, and end up hitting the perfect shot, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, so you had a little influence on your.
I might have done, yeah.
Did you?
Apparently.
Very good.
I want to.
Just guessing.
Do you know that Mr. Howell here? You had a hole in one. What tournament?
I did at Wentworth a couple of years ago.
Tell us what happened.
The famous 14th up the hill.
Yes.
No crowds because it's COVID tournament, of course. And I hit a 7-iron in the hole. There's the car, beautiful car.
Yeah.
£70,000 car.
Amazing.
Lovely car.
Oh my gosh.
So my caddy is delighted. He's not getting the car. He's going to get to drive my car home. It's my caddy. But so I spend an hour of my life thinking I've won this car. This is amazing.
Oh,
I get
my
in,
goodness.
but then I see all the officials and I see their eyes and just above and they say, you do know what's happening with the car this year?
No,
and
it's
the
for
only
me.
I think is, well, I have to have that exact car.
Yeah.
And I said, no, tell me exactly. And they say, it's going to charity. To which I say, is it? The kicker, unbelievable. So Oh, yeah, lovely for the charity. Very pleased to have generously, given €74,000 to charity, which is a great thing, and I'm very pleased with that. However, would you believe, God's honest truth, I wake up the next day and driving back to Wentworth because I've made the cut miraculously, and I have a puncture in my actual car. So I don't win 75 grand. I'm £280 down for the week, and I spend all morning in the garage trying to on Monday morning. Yeah,
that is a
but
brilliant
pleased
story.
for you two.
We're so delighted. We're so delighted that you both. You give him a lift back. Great. And were you an usher at his wedding? You were an usher. Jordan, you were an usher at David's wedding.
I was an usher at Jordan's wedding.
Sorry, why am I including it? You were an usher at Jordan's wedding. I'm so glad we sorted that out. It was a good wedding.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was best day of my life, obviously, and it was such a good weekend. And yeah, so I had Martin as an usher. I had one of my old caddies as my best man. So yeah.
When exactly was it?
It was last August.
Last August.
Yeah. So
still married?
Yep. Yep. Still married.
Yeah. 3-day wedding. It got a bit aggressive.
Brilliant. Oh, that's fantastic. Now, this is your second Open Championship, 2018. So the first one here at the Old Course. Guys, what is it like being here?
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I knew coming into this week it was going to be immense with the rumours about how many tickets have been sold and how many people had applied for them, and obviously getting here Monday was just unreal, sort of driving through the town and it was just packed, and yeah, just looking forward to getting out there now. We haven't been on the course, so I'm looking forward to playing 18 this afternoon.
18, and the wind, my goodness, it's picking up. Are you taking lots of notes?
He will be.
Yeah, you will be.
Yeah, the pencil's sharp. The pencil's been sharpened.
You'll have a busy day. Listen, great to chat to you, and we're delighted that we get to ride in your car at some point over the next few days.
Yeah, no, my pleasure.
Great stuff. Back to you guys in the box.
Thank you very much indeed. Wayne, you've won a car for a hole-in-one, I'm sure, in your illustrious career.
I have, in France. I won 2 watches. I had 7 hole-in-ones in my life, and I won 4 prizes. I won a car, 2 watches, and a block of gold.
I was unfortunately thinking in my head that I'd won a car because I hole-in-one at a tournament down in the south of England. Looked back at the tee and thought, wow, there's a car sat on that tee. I've won this car. Saw the club pro walking around the next hole, which was right adjacent to me, and I said, I've just hole-in-one. I've won the car, have I? He said, no, it's a set of tyres. So I won a set of tyres when I thought I'd won a car. Almost as unlucky as Howler. Mind you, his went to charity. That was good. Padraig Harrington, a 2-time Open champion, back-to-back Opens, 07 and 08.
Don't count him out.
Oh, I'm just not counting him out. I'm having him down as one of the favourites.
Yeah, I said that last week. The reason being, well, look, he's tinkering with his swing once. Looks like Andrew Sherborne back in the day. I mean, great player, Andrew, won a couple of times on the DP World Tour. The reason why we are saying do not discard Harrington is because this golf course does not suit a certain type of player. You don't need to be long, and he's by no means short. So look out for him. Missed the cut last week after shooting great rounds at the JP and fresh off the Seniors US Open win. So yeah, he's a chance. He really is a chance. Tom Watson nearly won this championship at Turnberry back in the day when he was 59 to be beaten in a playoff by Stuart Sink. So he's 50. He has a chance this week. He is 200 to 1.
Yes, that is worth a flutter. So we're going to use our technology again to have a look at the shots that Padraig's hitting on the driving range and transpose them onto the 18th hole of the Old Course. You can see that low raking fade he was hitting there on the range, trying to keep it out of the left to right wind. He actually says to me, I've got a significant advantage when we play links courses, a significant advantage, because he believes, like Tiger was saying in his press conference, he has a certain knowledge about the way to play links courses that other players don't possess, that he has all the shots around the greens particularly. So he says, whenever we play links, I feel like I'm ahead of the field straight away.
Yeah, he can flight it up, he can flight it down, left to right, right to left, whatever you like, and he's a wonderful putter.
Let's go back to join Di on the range.
Thanks very much, Tim. It's been a great morning down here. And David, what have you enjoyed the most?
Well, great to see the guys, swinging. Rory down there, just absolutely nutting it, which is just amazing to see. When some people just stand out the way they stroke the ball, and Rory did that for me this morning. However, this golf course isn't just about nutting it. It's got so much nuance. Anyone can get around here in a good score, and anyone can have a bad day. So let's see what the week brings.
Oh, absolutely. I've really enjoyed seeing Jordan Spieth, and I tell you what, I think he's my top top tip for this week. But the wind is blowing, and it's a west-southwest wind today. What will it be tomorrow? We will be back at 2 o'clock this afternoon. We've got 4 hours of coverage for you from 2 till 6 o'clock. So you have a great afternoon. I'm going to see you tomorrow, and join us at 2 o'clock from us. We'll see you then. Goodbye.